Hey there, welcome to
Wow.
Motorcycles.
That's so loud now. Okay, I'm good.
Hey there, welcome to Motorcycles and Misfits. Coming to you from the Recycle Garage in sunny Santa Cruz, California. Hey everyone, this is Liza.
Hi, Liza.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. I'm a little bit cold. It's cold out there. I'm going to say winter is in full effect. It's at that point where us here in California say it's fucking freezing because it's down to like 58.
Yeah, we could have dipped below 60. Yeah.
It's 51 in the morning.
That is our like, I can't stand the
It was a
cold.
nice sunset, though. Good sunset.
On the wrong side.
It was such a gorgeous day.
But another good day in the garage. We got a little bit different crew here. We got some different voices here. An old voice coming back. Could have been from the dead.
No.
We're going to find out that story.
No, I was
Almost.
fine.
Almost. Let's
Nothing
get to
could have gone wrong.
who is here with me in the studio, sitting next to me in rubbing distance.
Ooh.
It's Stumpy
Oh.
John,
Okay, I feel better now.
or as I said last week, Jumpy Ston.
Ooh. Heidi ho, nerds.
On the classy girl couch, it's
I
Hector.
thought it was pretty.
Hey, y'all. Feeling classy over here.
Oh, the pretty girl couch is the one in the garage.
Oh,
Classy girl couch is
you're
in
right.
here.
Yeah,
You can
okay.
tell because
'Cause
it's leather.
It is black
Uh,
leather,
Genuine imitation leather.
of course. And the one rubbing the black pleather right now, it's Charley.
It is I, alive.
Good thing.
Mhm, yeah, we'll get to some stories of why you should be deaded.
I shouldn't be dead. I would have been. I would have been fine. Nothing would have went bad.
Oh, I disagree. We'll get to
Okay,
that.
well,
All right, looking lovely in red. It's
The
Scotty.
lady in red. Hello. How's it going? It's so good to be back.
Yeah, you've been gone.
I've been off doing stuff.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
I'll say your boots are quite broken in from the first day you wore them. I remember the podcast when you first got those leather boots, and they look extremely well traveled at this point
Yeah.
and very comfortable.
Been out there doing stuff. Yeah.
And of course, that would be the sultry tones of boot lover Jim.
Yes. Hi, happy to be here. And a shout out to Miss Emma, who's a little under the weather today.
Yeah.
And a shout out to Mike Beck, who came by the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Good to see
yeah, man, the coolest guy I know.
Always nice to have a celebrity at the garage.
Yeah.
I know. And looking good in his Volkswagen t-shirt, it's Bagel.
Yeah, it is I, the worker of Volkswagens and other vehicles.
So I wanted just to talk real quick about a new thing I learned about that I was telling people in the garage because I'm excited. There's a new little mini bike available now called Antic.
How's it spelled?
ANTIC.
You were telling everyone you could tell about this
Well,
today. Yeah,
I'm
you were
excited.
very excited.
Very excited. Oh, Bagel, you should look it up.
That's not a suggestive name at all.
Bagel, here's why you'd be interested.
Oh, yeah?
They're electric
Ooh,
and made here in Santa Cruz.
really?
And retro
And retro.
in a good way.
Huh.
and they
They're
look super safe.
they're made in the style of the old like Sears pull
Oh, yeah.
cord mini bike,
like
right?
a Cushman,
Like
yeah.
Cushman, yeah.
Mhm.
That's-
Now,
Yeah.
here's what's cool about them. Yes, I mean Jim and I had some little electric mini bikes that were similar.
hmm
They're just dumb little toys. Here's
Mhm.
why this one is different. They have unlocked a feature no one else has.
I
Well,
think
there's
this
two
goes-
major differences.
Yeah,
But this all goes back to the parent company, right?
exactly. So they are made by a company called One Wheel. People might have seen these. They're the one-wheeled skateboards, and they're from here in Santa Cruz. In fact, the Wrigley building is
Yeah.
where they had one of those little spaces, and now they've gotten bigger and have moved around the corner to their own big building.
That's how they move the chewing gum around.
Yeah.
Is that one wheel dolly?
But I was watching a commercial and I saw these an ad for these mini bikes. I'm like, hey, that looks. Wait, where is that? Wait, I saw it here in Santa Cruz, so I like immediately looked up the address, drove up there, and knocked on the door.
Of course not.
Not the first time that you've been on closed circuit camera at the Wrigley building snooping around. between the Michelin guy, the dealer, and anyway, yeah.
Now, here's why I love it. So, for those who aren't familiar with the one wheel, it's one wheel, and it uses the same technology as like the Segway. It's a self-balancing thing. They're using that technology on this mini bike. It does self-balance. It'll stand upright without you touching it.
Yeah. The one-wheel skateboard, if people haven't seen them, because you see them out here, obviously.
But here's what it does. It has a wheelie mode. You press the wheelie button, and it will wheelie and hold the wheelie for you. It will balance for you.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. See? Now you get it, right, Bagel?
But that's just cheating.
No, it's not. I mean, we all
So is ABS and traction
we
control.
can now
and we all like
finally
those.
live out our childhood dreams.
Yeah, we need at least 5 of them to lead the Pride Parade next year.
Oh, that's
Wheeling
true.
right
Yeah.
down
Oh,
to
that'd
the-
be fun.
like
All right, now,
stallions.
I gotta ask, when it's in wheelie mode, do you control it with the throttle, or do you control it like a Segway and lean forward and backward?
Oh, good
I'm
question.
not sure, but I think you may lean because I saw pictures of people with their hands off the
That's a
handlebar,
great
Yeah.
question.
just going down the road balancing. So I think
Wow.
Because the
I think
one-wheeled skateboards are like that, right?
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
has to because if
Balance, yeah.
it's self-balancing, it means if you lean forward, it has to speed up.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it a new thing, or is it a one wheel with a training wheel?
Or is it just a shopping cart with two less wheels?
Well, a training wheel CPU.
A one wheel with a landing wheel.
Yeah, it's a one wheel with a landing gear.
Anyway,
At any rate, it's super cool.
Well, it looks
Thank
just
you.
like one of
I
the
thought
old.
it was super cool.
It is.
Yeah.
It looks like just one of the old Cushman mini bikes with a pull start, but the frame's empty.
Yeah,
There's like no
because the
engine.
battery's down
Yeah,
at
it's
the
weird
bottom.
looking,
Yeah,
right?
that's cool.
Lots of room for groceries and
Yeah,
friends.
Yeah, children.
Well, and then also you can get the extra surfboard rack attachment.
Of course. Yeah,
Of course.
Of course.
Because you have to have that.
because it's
Yeah.
from here.
Or a foil. Is a foil
Anyway, check it out. I'm going to try and get them on our show because I thought it was cool. But they, like I said, that one little gimmick. You remember how we had toys as a kid and have one gimmick and they would sell the toy just because it had one thing it did?
It's a good thing.
Yeah, I know. So they've unlocked the one thing and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's thinking outside the box. It's rethinking what you could, what kind of stupid things you could do with a mini bike.
You could clear
Yeah.
obstacles.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to have the one thing, it might as well be one really friggin' cool thing, like riding a wheelie down the street. I mean, you know,
No hand wheelie.
Yeah, nobody's going to know that you're on a,
Well, I told Liza,
on
'cause,
something
you know-
that's doing it automatically.
Yeah, all the young kids are into that stuff around here, like the one-wheeled skateboards. You see the electric bikes, because we're by the high school. You see those all over. I would love to see a bunch of kids mobbing on one wheel, just hectic all over town. A bunch of Groms just being
Wait until next
ramen.
month.
Yeah,
When you,
Yeah.
They're gonna
when
be
you
there.
true.
Jim, when you refer to kids, are you referring to people in their 20s and 30s?
Oh, absolutely,
Because you are of that age.
absolutely.
You kids get off my lawn.
Goddamn you girls.
Anyway,
No.
I have to ask though, all right, this opens up a whole new set of possibilities here because, like, say you're in one wheel mode, right?
Yeah.
What happens if you take it off a ramp? What does it do? How
Let's
does it handle
find out.
that, right?
Yeah,
There's
let's
only
get
one way
one.
to find out, right?
people off-road one wheels,
Right?
so I think
How does this do on trails?
Oh,
Probably
There's-
well.
Will it handle
There's
trails
really only
better than one wheel?
Oh,
what
and-
Scotty said.
and the
yes.
reason that it can stand up without a kickstand is because it's got the flat wheels. The
Right.
wheels that they use on the one wheel are
Oh,
go-kart
that's
wheels.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So it's like these flat wheels. Anyway,
It's like an
It's
Go
a
buy
mini
one,
bike.
Liza.
it's like an 8-inch by 8-inch square wheel.
Yeah.
oh, so I didn't
Yeah.
tell you. So I went over and I knocked on the door. Nobody answered. When I say knocked on, I had to ring the bell because it's a big building. No one answered. But then I saw people doing wheelies in the parking lot, in the side lot. And I'm like, hey, do you work here? And chatted with them and gave them my card. But I'm like, yeah, it's so cool. And they had to wear their little bike helmets and their little elbow guards.
They didn't offer to let you hop
Oh.
on, I guess, huh?
No, but it was cool to talk to them and just to learn more about them. But Santa Cruz Company, there you go.
Cool.
So check out Antic Bikes. It's a company called Future Motion. Well, we are here to talk about a trip that the three of you did last week.
So the three in question are Hector, Charley, and myself.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So there is a ride, a legendary ride that I've heard of for years, much like some of the the rides that we've done, you got like the Ridge Runners, and what's the one we did with the Oakland MC?
Sheet iron.
Sheet iron. There are these legendary off-road rides, but the most legendary I've heard of over the years was actually, it's called LA-Barstow. I heard about it from
To Vegas.
Yes. To Vegas?
You missed half the ride.
The best half.
So
LA-Barstow-Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think I heard about it from Jocelyn Snow first, like before she was like a GS rider person.
Yeah. So this was the 41st running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an epic ride. So, whose idea was this for y'all to go?
Well, I think me and Scotty independently had the idea.
I had like talked to it. I think I talked to you, Jam.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, let's do this. And nobody was into it.
It's a bucket list thing for sure.
So I just signed up.
So,
and then like a month and a half later, I got a text from these guys and they're like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm already doing it.
Yeah, I went to the Day of the Dead Vampires ride, and I was talking to Charley. We were talking about what's coming up and everything, and he was like, I'm thinking about LA-Barstow-to-Vegas. And I said, I was thinking about that too. Sounds pretty cool. And he goes, well, I'm 90% in. So, well, okay, I guess let's do it. So the next day I signed up, and then, all of us started talking. There was a few other people that talked about possibly going, but the three of us made it happen.
Our group chat ballooned up to like 7 or 8 people at one point.
Almost as fast as it shrank.
And then it shrank pretty quick.
They're like, no, I'm out.
Yeah.
all right. So, Scotty, can you tell everyone what this ride is?
Sure, yeah. So this was the 41st running of it as we kind of think of it now, as a recreational dual sport ride. There had for years been a race, Barstow-to-Vegas.
Right.
And this was very sort of a pinnacle
Like
premier,
a Baja 500 type of thing.
very much. Yeah. It's about 150 to 200 miles, Barstow-to-Vegas.
Off-road.
Off-road.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should say that this is off-road riding through the desert, over rocks.
Yeah.
Probably like 95% of the ride is off-road.
Like single track or just like straight through the desert?
Well, we'll
Yes.
get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, so this thing started as a race. It was Barstow-to-Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
As a recreational thing, they started doing it, and I don't know when they started doing it as LA. And calling it LA is kind of stretching the reality of Los Angeles because it
Well-
starts in Palmdale.
Yeah, Palmdale,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, but us that don't live in LA, you see that whole blob and you're like, that's Los Angeles.
Yeah. For those of us
You
who
know.
live in Northern California,
Yeah.
we know everything south of Santa Barbara is either LA, San Diego, or Palm Springs.
And
Fair
you
enough.
definitely don't want to start in like Venice Beach.
Well, no.
So that would be kind of cool.
So yeah, the thing starts in Palmdale, and the first day you get a little bit of road just to get out of town, and then you're pretty quickly on to some sandy, muddy.
It was mud from the beginning, and I don't think we were.
Okay, before we get into the
Okay.
day by day,
Yeah.
like how many miles are you traveling? How many days? How many people are doing it?
Sure. So
There's-
it's capped at 500 entrants.
Okay.
This year there were, I think, 450 or so. It's 2 days. So it's always starts the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So it's Friday and Saturday. So you start the Friday morning, bright and early after your giant turkey meal, ride all day from Palmdale to Barstow. It's about 150-ish miles.
Uh-huh.
Stay in a hotel motel in Barstow, get up bright and early, and ride to Vegas. And that's another 150 to 200 miles.
So I have questions, right? So back to the beginning, because this I'm always curious about these parts. Where did you stay the night before, or did you roll in that morning? And like, what's the start like? You and 400 other people
Yeah.
on dirt bikes. Like, what is all that
That's
like?
such a good question. Yeah.
It's not like an actual race start. They provide you kind of a GPS route, and you check in, whatever, and they kind of have a suggested window that you should start in. So they typically like kind of start between 6:30, and then the first sweeps leave at like 8:30.
Cool. Okay.
So
It's not a mass start event.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
kind of at your leisure, but as soon as the sun gets up, start thinking about getting out there.
Is it a race or just a thing?
It's not a race.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Wait,
just-
is it not a race? Not a race?
No, it's
Well,
like actually,
it's
actually not a race.
It's a make it.
It's not a
Or is
race.
it like sheet iron?
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
It's not timed either.
Nope.
You're not
no,
going against
but
the
like
clock,
you
right?
could still be the first person to get to the
Yeah, I mean,
destination,
somebody
but
was
it's not-
first.
Yeah.
I was the last person before. We'll get to that. Somebody was first, somebody's last, but nobody cares.
Okay.
You're doing it,
Yeah.
and it's such a
We're all in this
community.
together kind of
It's
thing.
such a great
Yeah.
community, yeah.
All right. Is there support provided for this? How does the logistics work?
Support is pretty limited.
But It's great. It has absolutely the correct amount of support to go into it without feeling like.
Well, if you're riding there, do you then ride back?
Oh yeah. So you got to figure out how to get back to where you're going.
Okay.
That's a separate sort of thing. The ride is Palmdale to Las Vegas.
Okay.
Everything outside of getting to Palmdale and getting home from Las Vegas, you're on your own.
There are check-in points. They take your number as you go through. You get a number and they record your number to make sure they knew your last known whereabouts and things like that.
Yeah, like which zone you might have gotten lost in or something.
And to say sweep is, it's kind of a soft term because they ride by and they're like, we're the sweeps.
Bye.
We're the sweep. How screwed are you?
Yeah.
Can we just leave you here?
Yeah.
It's pretty soft. There was a pretty excellent support that you both missed on day 2 with a fuel truck and a nice lunch sort of setup. So there is other support out there, but it's pretty laissez-faire.
So you said about 450. How many people finish?
I don't know. I mean, one of us did.
Well, and this plays into my question is, how many people did you see on big adventure bikes? Because what were y'all riding?
I was riding my Husqvarna 701 Enduro.
Which is a bitchin' bike. Charlie?
I was on my super duper Tenere 1200. Of course you were. But I put knobbies on it.
With knobbies.
Yeah.
Hector?
1290 Super Adventure, 50/50 tires.
So Scottie's on a heavy bike. You're on a 500-pound plus bike.
Right. I'm like,
so
really like
heavy bike.
Jim,
True.
I've decided there's 2 definitions of what crazy is.
Yeah.
One is doing the same thing repeatedly, expecting a different result.
Yes.
The other is taking a large adventure bike on the
anything
LA
sandy.
to Barstow-to-Vegas.
On a dual sport ride.
Sandy.
That's crazy.
Anything
So I
sandy.
had
But
a
kudos to
great
you. So,
time.
yeah.
I'd
So
totally
that was awesome.
So let's say there were 400 riders or whatever. You never go anywhere where you're not seeing bikes. There's dual sport bikes everywhere. Even once you get into town, I don't know. We probably saw 20 bigger adventure bikes, sort of like the T7s and up.
But bigger adventure, it starts at like 700 cc's.
Yeah.
Anything like over 1,000 cc's, I think I saw 4.
There was 4 1290s.
How many KLRs were there? That's the question.
I don't think I saw it. No, I saw one. I saw one.
You 2 were half of the big bikes.
Yeah.
Right.
Roughly.
All right. So I can tell you, I don't know a lot about this, but I remember hearing from, I believe it was Jocelyn, about the beginning of the trip, the sand section that wiped out so many people because it was just thick sand.
It wasn't at the beginning.
Was it not at the beginning?
Well,
There was like, it was like a kind of
another piece.
A road of just.
It probably would have
Sand.
been, but that sand was mud in that.
And there's
okay.
another piece of this we haven't talked about is that the route has changed every single year.
Oh.
Okay.
All 41 years have had a different route. Now there's sections that are consistent, but it's a different route every year.
Okay. So
and they have expert or novice routes, right?
Yeah, they provide a GPS route, and then on that GPS, and it's like a track, so you're just seeing like an overlay. It's not turn by turn, and then you'll see like a red section that's like, this is the expert route you could take.
Okay. And
So
you guys did that,
There's
right?
the main route, and then there's like optional extra hard routes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys did the hard routes?
No,
I didn't make
No, you didn't.
none of them.
That
Well, we
surprises
did.
me.
I wanted
part
to.
of a couple of
Scottie
them.
and
Of
I-
course you did.
Scottie and I, day 2, did maybe 45 minutes of the hard section to start out with. The sand was just way too much for me.
So it really was hard. It was harder.
It was fucking hard.
I mean,
Yeah.
riding sand is hard. Riding sand with a big bike it's
brutal.
really hard.
Yeah.
Like,
and these are capable big bikes.
Yeah.
But still, that was the part I remember being told by people who like took bikes that were too big, like, I'm going to take a 350 next time. Like,
Should we back up though? And,
Yes.
And like start at the beginning and talk about a little bit of our experience?
Sure. Yeah. I do want to hear it. I would like to hear kind of what the terrain is on this whole thing. And how familiar were you with it going in? Or were you just like, well, we'll see what we see?
Well, I was super familiar with it. I was having a great time.
Okay.
And I think a big part is that like we were literally going through areas where I had learned how to ride a motorbike.
Oh, wow.
oh, that's cool.
Which was fun to see that again.
So what area is that roughly geographically, other than outside of Palmdale?
Yeah,
kind of like roughly between Palmdale and Barstow.
Okay.
Okay. But to your point about the terrain, is we're crossing a big part of a big desert. And the Mojave's a big desert, but we're crossing a lot of it.
Yeah.
So the terrain changed significantly throughout each day.
Yeah, we went
a lot of different
anywhere.
Stuff.
Day one, we went anywhere from hard-packed fire roads to sandy sections that were full of water because it rained a ton the week before, big, deep mud sections, really rocky, hard sections. There was
sandy whoops.
Deep, like sandbox
really
sand.
deep sandbox sand with whoops in it. It's like Forrest Gump. There
These
was sideways sand and vertical sand and sand that came out right up from underneath. There was a pretty hard packed fire road that we got on it pretty good on the first day.
Oh,
steep downhill sandbox sand.
Yeah.
Steep downhill sandbox. Yeah, that was probably one of the harder bits.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you wanted to go back to the beginning.
Well, so we started out, and you're on paved roads for whatever, 10 miles or so, just to get out of town.
And everyone actually obeyed the speed limit. It was actually way more behaved than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah,
450 people
going the speed limit.
Yeah, I was like, there's no wheelies. There's
That's
no
a
like
hooligan ride.
No, I was like, people actually like want this to keep going. Like, there's I didn't see any cops. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was great.
No reason for any law enforcement because it was very sedate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got onto the dirt and it was like no rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was the first bits of dirt were, as Hector mentioned, they were like hard packed sand / sloppy mud.
Yeah.
And there'd be like these huge mud pits. And I mean, you're in the desert.
I'm out.
Well, there's huge mud pits like where the road was, and you could be like, well, I'm just not going to go on the road, and like you're still in the desert, so it's not like there's
almost everyone was going. There's paths around it through sand, and like I've heard you call them volunteer trails. There's volunteer trails everywhere around all these big mud pits, and you'd catch the edge of one here and there, but for the most part, everyone was going around because I mean it's the first real 20 minutes of riding.
Right out the gate. I wasn't expecting this.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt. I was like, I was ready for sand, not mud.
Well, they had a ton of rain about a month ago, a bunch of rain down that area, and I'm looking on the map where you
just
guys
a week before we were there.
Oh yeah, so they've had a bunch and washouts you have to watch for probably, but you're in the. I'm looking on the map. You guys are like south of Edwards Air Force Base. It is. Yep. This is like super in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so we skirted around the border of it. For a while.
How cool! All right,
the conditions were with the rain were perfect. Most of it, like there was barely any dust. I mean, it wasn't.
You missed day 2.
Yeah, well, fine.
So let me take it back for a second and find out what did you guys do to prep your bikes? Because I know Charley was working on his.
Yeah,
I rebuilt my suspension. I did, all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, you had your forks off.
Yeah, I had the forks off.
You put knobbies on.
Knobbies.
You thought of all the things except for one, but we'll get back to that.
Yeah. Hector, did you prep your bike much?
Yeah, I changed my tires and I fixed my high beam switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you were running Continentals? Is that what you had on?
No, I rode out there. I rode down there on Mitas EO7 Plus. It's like a 50/50 tire. First time I've ridden on them.
Would you recommend them for this ride?
No. My rear tire did everything I asked of it. Deep sand, everything. My rear tire was not the limiting factor, and I hate to blame my front tire because I sucked so bad in the sand.
That front tire was not the best tire.
Yeah, it was not the best for it, and really soft sidewall. As soon as we started hitting rocks, I could feel my rim all the time, and I tried adjusting air pressure and things like that in the front. It just never really held up. This tire kind of fought me since I bought it. I was showing these guys pictures as I was trying to mount it. I couldn't get the thing to catch a bead. I mean, all kinds of stupid stuff. I was really over this tire. Ironically, we stopped. So somewhere in day 2, we'll get to it, but I did wind up puncturing the sidewall on it. And I increased my air pressure just before that because we were going through these rocky sections. I could feel everything. But yeah, I ran those EO7 Plus. We rode down there. I mean, on Charley and I rode down on Thanksgiving Day at a very legal, respectable rate of speed down I-5. And they did great on the highway. They did great on the hard-packed dirt sections. I'd never really felt like the tire was the limiting factor, except for in that sand.
Yeah, well, and you're with hard, pointy rocks. It's good to have a stiff sidewall, stiff carcass, and all that. But Charley, you just went Motas, didn't you?
I did the Motas, the Tractionator Desert HT or whatever, and those are phenomenal. I had zero problems with my tires. They held up so much better than I thought they were going to. I was afraid of riding down there and like not having knobs left, and I still have like the molding bits on the tires.
The little hairs.
Yeah. I was kind of blown away with that.
And Scotty, did you do anything to prep your 701, which is a pretty new bike?
Yeah,
You put gas in it?
I put gas in it. Yeah. Yeah. No, I did almost nothing. I needed a new tire, so I put a new tire on, but that's just because the other one was bald.
So, Scotty, how did you find the riding? Because you're on a lighter bike, you're a capable rider. Was it like enjoyable? Was it flowing? Was it arduous?
Everything was so fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
like how so though? Like how was it?
So they're long days, and it's challenging. Relatively challenging terrain.
Yeah, but you would say like, "Oh man, I went through a lava flow. It was so fun." You just have that attitude of everything.
I love that. Thank you. But yeah, no, it's challenging. Big sandy whoops are challenging. Super soft sandbox stuff can be challenging. But
helping Hector pick up his bike, challenging.
Yes, multiple times.
It just kept changing, and
cool.
Because it's not
Which
a race.
Is awesome. Yeah.
There was no like stress to like do stuff and get going. So it was like leisurely and fun.
So
and relaxing.
How did you do for water? Like you probably had 3 or 4 liters to start or something like that. Water and
liter
all
and
that?
a half.
Yeah. Okay.
And toolkit.
The stops are about 100 miles, so there is a gas stop you can fill back up. It's not like the end of the world.
All right,
gotcha.
and you're not carrying camping gear or anything.
And the temps were really good. I mean, I think the high was like 65.
Nice.
It was
That's perfect.
Yeah, it was great riding weather. Clear skies. Everything was great.
And most of the gas stops are at like big gas stations, so you can go in and get a sandwich and a drink and coffee and hang out and take your bike apart.
So the 3 of you were riding together?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And did you pick up any other stragglers, or was it just the 3 of you?
I had a couple of colleagues that were out there riding and met up with them a couple times, but we weren't really riding together.
Like we would just chat at the stops, and then we'd kind of go in the same direction.
Which was kind of surprising. I didn't really think we'd see them with that many riders, but you're coming across so many people so frequently. It's really cool.
So Hector and Charley, at what point on day 1 did you realize you didn't bring the right bike?
I loved the whole time. I honestly had such a blast on that ride. I was ripping that bike. Those knobbies were really good for me.
Okay.
I was afraid of the sand, but I just kept my throttle open and I looked where I wanted to go, and the bike did it.
Had you ridden in the sand much before this?
Little bits, but
that's really impressive.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I mean, you're like, the big sandy whoops are kind of what beat me up the most.
It's exhausting, right?
And with the big bike, you feel all this weight going down into it, and you're throttling out of it, and then your bars are full lock to the side, and you're still going straight, and you're just keep looking straight.
And that was one whoop.
Yeah, and then you're doing this
5 miles. Of that, right?
Yeah, and so then sections you're I'm just gonna go to the side, and now you're railing through bushes that don't even feel like they're there.
For me, it was about halfway to the lunch stop on day 1. The sandy section was sustained. I just was not finding the flow that I normally feel like I find on dirt roads, and really start charging stuff. My rhythm kept getting broken up by this sand, and Charley was in the cardo, just head up on the throttle. I'm like, I think I am, but I wasn't. Well, and then there was one spot where I went through. I don't know how I paddled it through there, but I must have looked like a spastic duck. Just feet everywhere, handlebars whipping back and forth. I'm doing 6 miles an hour instead of 30 like I should be. And he was waiting at the other end of the pit, and he's in the cardo. He goes, well, it wasn't the most graceful, but you made it.
Well, and you're the bike's the back end's shooting out 3 feet to each side, and it's just,
Well, we should talk a little bit about the scale of some of the whoops, because we can all kind of imagine a washboard road that you might drive down, but these were significant.
Well, the milk jug would fit in there.
Yeah, so you could
2.5,
3 feet from top to crest would
3
be
to 5 feet deep,
just normal.
And it's about a bike length in length or whatever. So your whole bike's going down into it, and you can't really stop in it. You want to keep that momentum going.
And would they last for a mile or 2?
5.
Yeah, unrelenting.
Yeah,
right?
they just go on forever. Yeah.
And there is a technique to riding some of this stuff. That if you can get up on top, you can kind of skip across the top a little bit, and
you keep the front wheel up. You just
and it's a challenge, right? It's hard to do that because the rhythm is changing, or you go in a corner and some of this stuff.
I did not attempt that.
And if you can't do it, though,
I tried at one point. My rear wheel went about, I was guessing about 1.5 feet to the right.
Oh, I was behind
you.
And
then switching to 1.5 feet to the left, and through 5 different whoops, and I was stay on the throttle, it's going to straighten out. And I was explaining that later to someone like, man, I was just switching back and forth. And Scotty goes, no, I was behind you. It was probably worse than that. Because I thought I was exaggerating at the 1.5 feet.
Yeah, so I was behind you. It was like the opposite of a tank slapper.
Yeah.
Like,
my front wheel was
a motorcycle could twerk.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Well, and that's your tires. I think if you had a true knob, you wouldn't be shifting out as much. It'd actually be grabbing and pushing more meat.
But you stayed on the gas, and that's why you didn't high side or some bad experience, right?
Hold it out.
That's the great thing and the horrible thing about that kind of riding is as long as you stay on the gas, it's great, but you're staying on the gas, you know, and you're like, a lot of times you're creeping faster and faster.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, there was a lot of good stuff on this ride. I mean, the terrain was amazing, but the people there were just awesome. I mean, the first night we got there, Thanksgiving night, Charley and I had some drinks, and we were standing outside talking to some guys. Scotty came in a little later in the evening. And all the people that we met in the beginning, we just came across over and over, and everyone checked on each other. There was a guy on a 1290 like mine when I finally did have a blowout on my front tire on day 2, like halfway to the first lunch stop. The same guy on the 1290 saw me, didn't even stop and ask if I was all right, whipped around on the trail, came over, hopped off his bike, helmet off, like, let me help you. Like, let's just, how can we help, you know? And everybody did some really cool stuff like that.
Yeah, big bikes stay together.
Yeah.
Well, even when the first time you fell over on that hill, Charley, before I could even stop and turn around, there were like 5 people helping you pick the bike up.
I want to say that's the only time I fell over.
You can say that.
The second time the bike dropped, it was because the kickstand sank into the ground.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some of that too.
That's great camaraderie though, huh?
It really was.
Yeah, that makes those events
so much
cool.
community.
You know, really, another really cool one is, you know, I had my tire blowout. I rode to Baker. So on the timeline of things, day 1, Charley's wheel bearing, right?
We haven't talked about that yet.
Well,
we should
we got to get into the repair section here.
Can you just bleep that?
Yeah. Charley fixed someone's wheel bearing and kept riding.
I have a quick question. So I know I'm saying that your bikes are inappropriate, but they're actually appropriate bikes for off-roading. They're just more of a challenge than the lighter bike.
All bikes are appropriate.
Were there
I think Scotty
any
would
bikes
agree.
that you guys thought that were a tough ride that people did?
Like a Ninja 250?
I wouldn't be surprised if Scotty would show up on a monkey bike to do this, you know? Like, was there anything like that?
That could be next year.
There were some folks that were doing really impressive things in a lot of different ways. Honestly, I think the most difficult bike to ride is probably Hector's bike.
Okay.
It's so much of it with the 50/50 tires, like that looked like the most challenging choice of everybody out there.
All right, so no one came on anything else? Like,
Now,
weird?
I'm including...
we got to pause. Hector gets the craziest bike award from the LA-Barstow-to-Vegas. Well done.
Well, but like...
There was 3 vintage Triumphs, right? Like 60s Triumph Scramblers, straight pipe Triumphs.
Cool.
Those guys were in from Georgia and Tennessee.
Cool.
And
2 out of 3 of them even started. So that was cool. And 2 of them finished.
No, not 2.
So,
wow.
And the 2 finished.
Oh, yeah, both who started finished.
Yeah. There was a spot where they rolled into Baker and the checkpoint guy goes, you know, you have a flat. And he goes, yeah, I don't care. Wow, I'm done. I don't care. The Triumphs are really cool. TW200s, a handful of TW200s.
T-dubs.
How were those in the sand?
They kicked my ass, so and they made it to the finish line, which was pretty amazing. You know, one of the TW200s, their license plate, their custom license plate is LA-Barstow-to-Vegas, and they're from
LABV on the license
yeah,
plate.
and I don't remember what state they were from. They're not even from California, so I mean. There was some really cool bike choices out there. A lot of, you know, like I said, there was a CF Moto. There was an IBEX 450 that was there. I saw it at the finish line. That was good.
Yeah. There was a Kobe, right?
Yeah, a couple Kobe's, the big and the small.
So you'd say that the CF Moto IBEX was a very appropriate bike for that?
I don't know, man.
I would say...
I wouldn't want to ride it through the whoop sections with the ground clearance it has.
I know what I think is the perfect bike for that. I would love to hear from you two.
Well, that was actually on my list to ask. What is the perfect bike?
And we should probably hold that thought until we talk about...
I think I know what the perfect bike is. In fact, I'm going to write it down.
She cannot hold that thought.
I'm going to write it down and you guys have
hold
your
on
conversation.
Until we talk about some of the things that went wrong with our bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Charley?
So who had the first issue? Charley?
Yeah, I had the first real issue. I mean, my wheel bearing was really bad.
Front or rear?
If you consider face down in the mud an issue, then that would be me.
Yeah,
that was like the first 8 minutes.
So the way you found that issue...
Come back to that, though.
Well, I didn't notice it. I just railed the bike through the desert. I was going like, at one point I was going like 95 on a hard pack.
Whoa.
I was passing dirt
smoking
bikes.
it.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Well, dirt bikes are going like 50, 60, thinking they're hot shit. And then this behemoth.
Yeah, because
like,
you eat shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're like race
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah.
And the bike was phenomenal. I think
That's cool.
it worked out great. You know, in the sand, it was slower than the lighter bikes, but I was able to power through. I was probably going about the same speed.
Yeah, because it's like
as a lot of the
300
bikes,
pounds heavier.
Yeah.
It's an extra full motorcycle.
Yeah, exactly.
But it has the torque and the power, and I put the right tires on it, and it was able to really power through it. And it just takes more energy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's, you get
Takes
tired.
more youth.
Well, you get tired
Exactly.
and start making mistakes. And then I got to the lunch stop, and when I was on the pavement, like filling the gas up, I was hearing something with my rear that was like, that doesn't sound right. And then I like got on the center stand, was like rolling my wheel around or whatever, and there was like a notching sound or something.
Yeah.
I would think that would be the chain.
Well,
no,
Charley
it's a
doesn't
shaft drive.
have a
Yeah.
chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started thinking
right.
that like one of my the splines or whatever in the pinion
Mhm.
gear had like broken off or
in
something
the
like
final
that.
drive.
Yeah, and or like it had drained itself of oil or something.
So
like
it was
that.
something.
I think that was all of our
our
initial suspicion when you would turn it and like every 2 revolutions
thing
it'd
you
have
can't
like a little
see,
chunk
yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Well, and then the whole wheel had a lot of side to side movement. It was probably like the wheel itself would
Oh.
shift like a quarter of an inch.
Oh, so it
Yeah.
was something. You're
It-
like, this
well,
is
and
something.
knowing now, okay, yeah, the movement is obviously a wheel bearing, but I'd never really.
So that's when you decided to stop riding.
no, well,
No, but we did take it apart.
Stop
We-
Charley
we-
took the wheel off in the parking lot of the AMPM.
yeah, I took the wheel off.
That's awesome.
We checked to see if there's oil in the final gear. While in the oil fill, you can move it and like look at the splines and stuff. And I was looking for like obvious points of failure, like what could go wrong. And we kind of figured, okay, it's the, it wasn't anything super obvious to where, okay, this is going to fail dramatically and like cause injury or like lock the wheel up or something. And the wheel is just wobbling. So the rotor was like moving back and forth with it. And you're,
Pushing the pads around.
But then we
Yeah.
left the gas station, put the wheel on. It's like, well, I don't know. We can't see anything obvious. Let's leave the gas station. And about a half mile down the road, there's a checkpoint that we rode by.
And this is one of the required checkpoints so that
Yeah.
they know if you get lost, like which section did you get lost in?
Yeah, so the last known whereabouts, right?
Mhm.
So we roll by it. You just roll through slow, 5-10 miles an hour, and we take off, and it's a paved road, maybe a mile until you turn off on the dirt road. Well, we passed the dirt road because I'm talking to Charley on the Cardo, going, I can really hear that now. And I can see the movement in your back wheel. And so I'm getting close to him, and we're watching the rotor, and I'm watching things, and I can't see anything, and we're talking back and
if
forth.
it's wobbling, it has to be hitting the brakes.
Yep.
pads,
So-
right?
And
Yeah.
the caliper was moving. Everything was.
It's
Everything
looking like a Model A Ford.
Exactly. It was like Jalopy Junction, right?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
going down the road. Well, we're paying attention to this, focus on this, and there's a pickup from the checkpoint coming up really fast, and we don't realize it until we
Oh.
pull over. And he's like, "Hey, something's really wrong there."
Yeah.
well,
And we said, "Yeah, we
They
know." And he
chased
goes,
you down.
he
We
said
learned
later.
Yeah.
He goes, "No, we heard it as you went through. I was half asleep in my truck because
Whoa.
he's like
It was
the MC,
Keith, right?
John."
John.
So he's like the MC for the supper that night and all this stuff. And so he goes, "Man, I was half asleep in my truck and I heard it go by and I thought that's a broken caliper or something." Anyways, he wanted to run and like make sure we weren't going to continue or we had some sort of plan.
It was making so much noise that the guy sleeping at the checkpoint chased us down. Got in his truck, chased us down to make sure we would not ride any further.
and basically, so the brakes are linked, and you hit the rear brake, and I think it was basically torquing the wheel, and then that bearing, it's fucked at this point. So now it's just metallic scraping sounds, and that's what he was hearing,
Ah.
and it was
pretty
really
loud.
bad. It was
So you were out
and
at
we
checkpoint 1.
Well, we were
Or checkpoint
sort of
Charley.
out.
Well, I mean,
because-
that's the first 65 miles.
Yeah. So we from there we're on the side of the road and we're like, okay,
Well-
what do we? Let's make a plan. So there's a mechanic in Barstow who changes tires and fixes levers, like all the common repairs that are needed at this halfway point. And so we kind of started talking like, well, maybe the mechanic can help us. They've got a shop in town. Maybe we'll get a wheel
It
bearing.
may just be a bearing.
Or
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe they'll go, oh no, this happens all the time on all these guys that bring
Yeah.
their Super Teners to
Yeah.
LA-Barstow-to-Vegas. Like,
Maybe they could-
we have a stock of this shit.
After flat
They
tires,
could put
yeah.
a PVC pipe in there or something. I don't know.
So,
And,
so at that point, we split up. Scottie headed back to Palmdale because her van was in Palmdale. And it's like, well, worst case scenario, we'll get the van this much closer. And then Charlie and I bailed out onto Highway 58 or whatever. And
so it was like 30 miles, and we were just like limping at like 40 miles an hour, and like would go on the shoulder.
Yeah, we had our flashers on, and we were on the Cardo, so I'd just be like, here come the trucks. We'd move over and go down the shoulder for a while. But we get there, and the mechanic's kind of looking like, I don't know, man, I got all these tire changes and things like that. But he did eventually tell Charlie, well, roll it up here on the stand, pull it off, we'll take a look, at least give you a second opinion. And so then I did, my best tech support thing. I went and got a 6-pack.
Well done.
Yeah.
So we're going to go,
well done.
We offered something to the mechanic, nothing, but I wound up standing there socializing while Scotty's out on the death ride, getting the van back. And,
so I do have a question about that. So you not only did the LA to Barstow section, you then on the motorcycle rode back to Palmdale.
Yeah.
To pick up the van
on the street or
and
the
then
dirt?
drive it back
on the
to
highway.
fucking
On the highway.
Barstow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is so you.
And then
I mean, it's only
after 100 and how much?
We were
20 miles?
this was the first stop, so 65 miles of dirt, and then it was probably about like an hour of riding back or something like that.
you had about an hour and a half of riding back to
highway,
Palmdale.
Yeah.
And then another hour and a half to get back to Barstow.
Like that's
Meanwhile, we're
It's no small
calling places in Victorville and everything like in a 2-hour radius, calling every place looking for a wheel bearing, because now the mechanic's like, yeah, it's definitely a wheel bearing. I don't know what you could do except for maybe just ride it or put it in the van.
I could not find a wheel bearing.
But we're
even
just
in
thinking
Vegas,
like, well,
Really?
if we could get anywhere in a 2-hour radius here, like one of us can strike out on my bike or in Scotty's van and just go get the bearings, get them back. Meanwhile, have this whole thing apart. But
because at this point, it's like 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock, so we have plenty of time. We could go find a bearing.
It's 1 or 2 in the afternoon.
Yeah. And this bearing's not unique for this motorcycle. It's on a lot of different Yamaha models. So like even a WR250, same bearing.
And there's a lot of like Barstow has legit stuff. I mean, all these
Riverside.
Anyway,
does,
interesting.
yeah.
I think we could have found a bearing if I just got the physical dimension to the bearing and went to like a tractor supplier. But that was a little more than I was kind of wanted to put effort into.
All right. I want to ask though, this is not a common thing for bearings to go out on a bike that's not from the 70s. So,
wait, how many miles do you have on that Tenere?
Yeah.
Well, so if you talk to the people on dirt bikes and you tell them the bearing has 44,000 miles on it, they're like, oh my God, that's so many miles on a bearing. That should have been replaced so long ago. But, and on dirt bikes, that makes sense. But, on a touring motorcycle, 44,000 miles isn't that much on a bearing. But, maybe how I ride it, it's a lot.
Okay.
You ride it like a dirt bike, so you should be counting it like a dirt bike.
So 44,000 miles.
So if you have about 40,000 miles on your Super Tenere's wheel bearing,
it's a road hard.
You may want to just wobble the wheel a little bit. I've learned a lot about bearings in the last couple days.
It's all about bearings.
I know how to check them all now. And I'm going to replace about all of them on that bike.
Actually, I think this is a perfect time to insert a history hole.
History hole.
Ooh.
In fact, this is going to be Hector's history hole.
We have never been in Hector's hole
Hector's
before.
hole.
Wow.
No. I know
You
Emma's hole is deep and dark like a cave.
Is Hector's moist
Is
like
it?
Emma's?
You guys are more familiar with his hole. What's it like now?
Is it
Very
like bright?
fuzzy.
No? Oh, okay.
Okay. So, Hector, I asked you to do a history hole
I
on
wasn't touching that.
bearings
Mhm.
for exactly this reason. This is one of those subjects that I think it's a topic we just don't really think about or process. But I came up with some questions and I wanted to see if Hector could answer these. And anyone here who has information, feel free to.
Yeah, you guys probably have a better shot than I will, but that's all right.
But my first question is, how crucial is a bearing on a motorcycle?
Not very.
Depends on which bearing.
I'll go very.
So truly,
I'll
it depends
say
on which bearing.
With
Obviously.
how bad my wheel bearing was, I didn't notice it when I was riding. Like I was ripping that thing. It did not ever leave me stranded. So I mean, you probably fine without it.
Yeah, but I've heard of them locking up wheels.
Yeah, but that bike has so much torque, it's gonna just power through whatever metal's there.
It's just going to rip apart the
You
hub.
know,
Until
I
it
mean,
fuses.
They're important if you want the bike to move right.
Yeah.
We ended up packing what was left of it with a lot of grease, and there was a moment where we were like, maybe we'll just ride it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because the torque makes a difference. So
Yeah.
Yeah, some grease and wine cork. You're good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's sand. It's got
Historic.
play to it. It's not like it's.
So Hector,
pavement.
how important is a bearing on a motorcycle?
I would say they're absolutely critical. Regardless of what Charlie says, they're absolutely critical. I mean, to maintain the speeds that we maintain, the abuse that we put our bikes through, I mean, is there a hierarchy of importance? Probably. Steering head bearing, I'd probably roll a lot longer than I would wheel bearings or other
Isn't
things
there
like
a
that.
drive shaft bearing?
There should be drive shaft.
You'd like
We were
to
talking
think
about that
yeah,
earlier.
so how many bearings are on a typical bike?
17. What's your next question?
Moving on.
Name them.
Bearing
Yes.
1, bearing 2.
Michael, Janet.
So,
Bob.
how many bearings
Chevy.
can you name, Hector?
Off the top of my head, we were kind of going through this earlier, so I cheated. But I mean, let's see, steering head, both axles, right?
Yeah, so you have,
The wheels.
so
But there's more than one bearing on each axle.
yeah,
There's
you
more
have
than one
two,
bearing on
two
each axle.
bearings on
Yeah.
each wheel,
Yeah.
two
So-
bearings on the steering.
Mine has 3.
Your rear,
Yeah.
your rear,
My rear has
Some
3.
have three.
rear has 3.
On
Yeah.
If you have a cush drive, that cush drive might
Yeah.
have its own bearing.
Yeah, there's swing arm bearings,
Yeah.
also linkage for your suspension. And that's without even getting into the motor type stuff, right?
And I wanted to clarify, we're not talking about sleeve bearings, we're talking about wheel bearings.
Actually, roller bearings.
roller bearings.
Roller bearings.
Yeah.
Roller
Or ball
and
bearings.
or ball bearings.
Yeah.
Baller, roller,
or needle
But the-
bearings.
Yeah, needle
Yes.
bearings. Yeah.
The bearings that most people should keep an eye on would be your
Or-
steering head, wheel, suspension,
Well, or,
engine.
yeah.
Right.
No, it'll just vibrate.
No. In fact, according to the Googles, there's 20 to 30 bearings in a typical motorcycle. That's a lot.
Yeah.
We should also, at this point, probably talk about the different sorts of bearings because
Yeah.
some of those
Well,
are
you're jumping
different
ahead.
kinds of things.
I like the German ones.
But first, Scotty, I have a question for you. Where is the term bearing derived from?
Oh, that's such a good.
Sounds like a nautical question.
Oh, Bagel
obviously
thinks he knows.
it's because they were originally made from bear teeth.
Bagel, you want to take a guess?
Being the trained linguist,
Aha!
sometimes a cunning one, the
I got that.
bearing comes from the word bear, not the animal, but in the sense of carrying.
Yes.
It means to carry or distribute a load over a surface. And that's exactly what a bearing does. It distributes weight, forces, and I guess it controls the motion of the parts.
Yeah.
that-
Bagel knows how
Wait,
to
so
distribute a
Liza,
load.
which one of us is correct?
To bear. Yeah. To bear. It comes from the verb to bear. In fact, just I wanted to read just the description. A bearing is a machine element that constrains relative motion to only the desired motion and reduces friction between moving parts.
But the
Okay.
torque can counter.
But
It's all about the torque.
That's a great description because it allows for linear bearings and all sorts of other things. Yeah.
Which means usually you have one part that's not moving, the other part that is moving, and it creates the least amount of friction between those two moving parts.
Right.
Yeah.
In
All right.
that single line, right?
Or I think the description was nice because it allows for linear or rotational movement.
Mhm.
So then I come to the question, how many types of bearings are there?
Well, what's a linear bearing? I don't know what that is.
It's like a drawer slide.
Oh, gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Yep.
Duh.
Yeah. Now I know.
Okay. So how many types of bearings are there?
A shitload.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought there were just two.
This in-depth knowledge. Where is Emma when we need her?
There's at least 2.
Yeah.
Please too. That's good. There's, I mean, how far back do you want to go though? Because there's plain bearings,
Pyramids.
Babbitt bushings, and all this other stuff that kind of counts as a bearing, but maybe we don't think of it that way.
Yeah, I mean that's something we were talking about earlier. Is do we try and do we just count roller wheel bearings, needle bearings? Like I don't know. In some quick Google searching, like the earliest bearing patents are from like 1797.
Tell you what, let's go.
right?
Let's go
And
back.
those were included ball bearings,
Mhm.
obviously unsealed. They were probably packing them
Loose.
with pork fat. And,
Loose ball bearing.
yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go back because my other question I had, and I think this is the most relevant. How much have bearings changed in the last 100 years?
A little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, not like
not a lot.
Yeah.
No.
Right?
A lot.
I think the overall design is very similar. The materials have gotten a lot better. And
Yeah.
the precision,
Yep.
I think, is really probably the biggest advancement.
So the
Yep.
bearings that we're used to, and for anyone who's disassembled any bike that's from the 70s or older, you take this steering head apart and all these little balls come dropping out.
Yeah.
You have two races that are not attached that then have actual loose little ball bearings between them packed in grease. It's that simple.
So that's what we would usually call a loose ball bearing.
A loose ball bearing.
A
And
lost ball
you're-
bearing. I've
you're-
had that, yeah.
You're supposed to put grease in them every once in a while. Have you
It
packed
helps.
your bearings recently?
Charlie's
so-
got bearing
Not my
issues.
sealed bearings, I haven't.
Let's go back to this thing, though, is because we've talked about like sealed cartridge bearings or cartridge bearings or loose ball bearings.
Yeah, so you have loose.
And there's like a weird in-between step, which is like a caged ball bearing.
Yeah.
You've probably seen that.
What is caged?
Well, there's like
They're
a
restrained, right? But you
yeah.
can see the ball. Is that
Most-
what you're
there's
talking
like a
about?
basket.
Your
with little
steering
teeth.
your steering head bearings, most of them are like that, right?
Mhm.
So they're not fully sealed. You can actually see the balls.
Correct.
Got
and then
Oh, yeah.
so that's
But
not
they won't like fall out.
They don't fall
Mhm,
out, though.
mhm,
But
okay.
you could still put grease
Okay,
in
it's
them.
like
But you
having
can
them in a
pack it.
race, but they don't fall out.
Oh, yes,
they're
yes,
not
yes.
they're not in a race. It's just a retainer.
Yeah, it's like in between. It's a
Oh.
retainer. Well
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, okay.
Well said. Yeah, yeah.
and-
Where
but then we get to like cartridge bearings, which is what Charlie broke.
yeah.
Which is where the outer race, the inner race, and the balls are kind of like one little package.
Well, and then they're
Yeah.
packed with their own grease or whatever, right? And then they're sealed in a way that like the grease can't escape and like dust and things can't.
And
Like
this-
if you ordered it from All Balls, that's what it came and looked like.
Yeah.
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 And
You're-
they're pretty reliable.
if it looks like a donut,
Yeah. Sometimes
Yeah.
they're not.
But here's the thing, and that's where other than
Sometimes they're-
other than them being sealed, and I know that through the years there's been different types of things to pack it with, stuff like that. But it seems like there's a flaw in the design in that every ball bearing has just a tiny point of which it's making contact on the race, which is why steering bearings are usually the first one you notice where you get that little notch
Mhm.
where it's dropping down in because they're wearing down.
Well, aren't
So that is a flaw that you have that tiny point.
that's a
But-
little bit of a weird
But there's
thing, specifically with steering head bearings, because they don't really turn. Steering,
Right.
like the steering head, the handlebars never really do a spin, like a 360,
right.
which is kind of what bearings are great at. They kind of just exist in this little narrow zone, which is why they get notchy, right?
Right.
Oh,
so,
okay, yeah,
so,
yeah,
but those were
interesting.
still that technology really hadn't changed. They'd been ball bearings. Then they came out with the flat bearings.
which are like little cylinders.
Little
instead of balls, and
cylinders.
they're like
Roller bearings.
You call them
specifically.
roller bearings. You call them tapered bearings.
Timken.
You call them.
If
But
they're
There's a
cone
lot of
shaped,
different
yeah.
names.
I will say with the ball bearings, they can make a recess or whatever. So you're not just touching the tip of the ball. You're there's a
right.
groove for 'em.
Right, but
So-
it
Hinges around the
distributes
groove.
the
Yeah.
weight across the length of this bearing, which
Right.
might be, I don't
Right.
know, a quarter of an inch, maybe.
Mhm. Even with a cartridge ball bearing, there is still like
a little recess, right?
a little radial
groove.
lash. So
Yeah.
it does.
But
You can preload them if
Yeah.
you need. to.
other than going to those flat type of bearings, that's it. That's, as far as I can find, that's the most technological advancement there's been.
I mean, they've probably changed the hardness of the metals and things like that
Mhm.
and made them more smooth, more
Yeah.
consistent. So the bearings aren't like
Do you know what the best kind of bearing you can get?
a new one.
No,
What do
I
you think
found
is the best kind?
the best bearing you can get is a ceramic bearing with steel races.
I think that. So those are great,
Mhm.
and the
Depends on the
reasons-
application, right?
Exactly, and the ceramic is great because it's fantastically hard and they're very consistent. But then you get into this problem of the ceramic balls being so much harder than the races,
Get brittle.
and they can get brittle. So while those are great for some like high RPM applications, and they weigh less, which is nice,
Are they not as reliable?
they're less durable.
Right.
Yeah.
I find it interesting too, as you said, on something like the steering bearings where they barely move, not even a full 360 turn.
Mhm.
And then you get bearings in motors. And some of these motors these days, especially when you get some of these leader bikes, with the amount of revolutions they're doing very high speed.
Like- Like 60
But they're
RPM.
still basically the same thing. And
Mhm.
it still hasn't changed in 100 years. But the evolution of the motors and the suspension and everything has changed except for the bearings.
Like an oil.
Do you think it's because it was just a perfect thing from the start?
Yeah, it's just exceptionally good at doing its job.
It's like a wheel, you know. They've refined it a lot, but I mean, it's still a wheel. It's hard to get much better than what it is.
And a bearing is nothing more than a bunch of little wheels.
I was at the Antique Gas and Tractor Museum a few months ago, and I was looking at all these old 100-year-old plus single cylinder engines, these big giant engines, and every bearing point, like where the crank would rotate, they'd have these little glass pots on top with a shaft that went right to the bearings, because it's basically just a bushing, right?
A plain bearing.
Yeah, and so they would add oil or grease to just keep these things lubricated, and as it heated up and you could set a drip, it was like a little small drip of oil lubricant to go to these things. Still, it's the exact same thing we're looking at, just a different metallurgy, right? Different lubrication process. It's either fixed or the oil circulating around it, but I mean, it's still exactly the same thing on these giant old engines.
Yeah,
that technology is still used with your camshafts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was servicing a sewing machine recently, and it used a grease wick.
Sick.
No.
Just for a plain bearing, yeah.
So, did you have anything else you wanted to add to the bearing history hole?
Nothing of value. No.
Looking forward, though, do you think that what if you could make these like electromagnetic? So it worked the same as a bearing cartridge, but instead of grease and friction, it was electromagnetic, a frictionless bearing.
I too enjoy more expensive parts.
The description that Liza read was really perfect, because it talked a lot about how it does allow for this movement that we need, right? In the case of what we're talking about, a rotational movement, a spin. We want something to spin. But we also want it to not go sideways. And that's where a cartridge bearing or even a loose ball bearing, when preloaded, it does such a great job of constraining the motion in the undesirable ways and allowing it to rotate freely in the desirable ways. And it's
a lot of efficiency built into that.
It's doing a lot of tricks. It's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
All right.
And they last a long time. Like, they're pretty durable, and you just have to...
43,500 miles, probably.
Well,
all right.
I mean, maybe I neglected them, and I could have checked them at any point and maybe replaced them sooner. That absolutely could have happened.
All right. Well, enough about bearings. Let's get back to Charlie's dismal performance.
Well, before we do though, Liza, can I offer one more thing about
please.
things I think is very important on that point? Is what keeps bearings intact is that very microscopically thin film of oil or grease that's in there that separates them from the race. Because if you're rubbing metal on metal, that is going to cause wear on both surfaces much faster without any sort of lubrication there. If you have that thin layer of grease, especially in the engine where you have like an adjixtory of roller bearings for the crankshaft, those are submerged in oil. So the metal should never touch the other piece of metal. It should have that film of oil in between it all the time, and so it's gliding on that film of oil, and that's what helps keep those bearings intact for as long as they.
So it is
very well
frictionless.
said.
Yeah, and like Scotty's point that it goes
friction, but yes,
circular.
Well, and everything that's in the engine, it has a constant supply of oil, so those bearings typically don't really need to replace it.
Right. But if you let your wheel bearings get dry or your steering head bearings get dry, they'll get eaten up in a hurry, especially if you're going over hardpack at 90 miles an hour.
95.
Who's counting?
I was GPS.
Yeah.
So back to Charlie. So you figured out you can't get bearings. So what'd you decide to do?
And you were in Baker?
No,
Barstow.
We made it to Barstow. I mean, we limped it.
Wait, and whose van was this?
It was Scotty's. I rode the bike all the way to Barstow.
And
I turned around and rode back to Palmdale, got the van, and drove back to Barstow.
If you've not been to Barstow, it is a hard luck town.
It really is.
Like I was there, I was camping out there, quick story, and I popped in for a quick lunch at a Mexican place. And while I'm parking the bike, somebody asked me, why does someone come here? And I just said, hard luck. That's how you end up in Barstow. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I think I think Fresno is the armpit of California, then Baker is the taint.
Baker maybe, but I don't know. Barstow's a little town. It's got stuff.
I thought it was a cute little town.
It does
train
have
town.
character.
It's got
It has a big train thing, but yeah.
I mean, if
military too.
If you're into desert off-road riding, it's a great town to live. I mean,
fair.
So you went and got the van. So you decided, I'm out.
Yeah, I was like, the smartest thing to do would be to put it in the van, and then we could drive the van to Vegas, and then it's in Vegas. We don't have to like go and backtrack and get the van. With how dramatically it had already failed, it was a gamble whether or not it didn't finish the ride, and then where would it actually fail, and it could, seize the brakes, it could seize the wheel. I mean, it could have any...
The recovery mission was like stepping up like every scenario that we looked at if we rode it out of Barstow.
Well, and then like it could keep wobbling and just create more damage and make it more complicated to fix.
Charlie,
Start screwing with your
yeah.
your final drive.
It's not going to get better.
I'm sorry that this happened to you, because I know that you really prepped for this, and you're one of the best riders amongst us. So you could have done it and
Charley
shown
was
everyone.
down here for like weeks prepping the
I
bike for the ride.
I know, but you made the right call.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty disappointed I couldn't finish the ride, but I was pretty proud with everything I'd already done.
Yeah.
I had a great time overall, and ultimately we rode motorcycles. I didn't crash and like break a bone or anything. I'd rather have a mechanical than an injury.
So then we were down to 2.
Yeah. And we started...
you guys started strong.
We started out so there was a hard split.
Where'd you sleep?
So were you
like a little hotel or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
hotels.
And the event's very well organized. When you go to book your... you go to the LA-Barstow-to-Vegas website, they have suggested hotels that they're running the organizations out of, where they do the start and stop. So it's easy just to go to those hotels. There's already right there.
And they had guards watching all the bikes every night.
Oh, cool.
It was,
They had like a local Boy Scout troop one night.
yeah.
They just stayed up and watched the motorcycles.
Watched motorcycles all night long.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's Barstow.
Yeah.
Well, it's a pretty cool thing to do. I mean, all these dirt bikes and stuff show up. I mean, I have a couple of pictures of the parking lot. A few hundred dirt bikes out there, and nobody has to worry about them.
Mm-hmm.
They take donations. It's one of their fundraisers. And it's just a really cool thing to do. Same thing when we got to Vegas. Secure parking for bikes, vans, trucks, all this stuff. All got to go into one area, and they have someone sitting there all night.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when you started back up, you're like the last people then, or?
No, so that we started back up again on Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You're a halfway point. Yeah.
So Charley put his bike back together. We checked into our hotels. We had dinner. We kind of sat around, and I think Charley was still considering possibly riding.
Yeah, I didn't fully decide to not ride, I think, till the morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so I was like, fuck it, what could happen?
Yeah, and it could have gotten a lot worse, but it didn't. Yeah. And I think it was the smart choice.
Well, because it's like, okay, then I'd be in Vegas with an even more fucked wheel, and then we'd have to then ride or get, then getting the van or whatever back to, it would have been a nightmare.
Well, we also rode down there, 4.5, 5 hours to get down there, and from Vegas back up. It's, 7-8 hour ride. We still at one point still had hopes of riding 2 bikes back home.
Well, because we were like, if I could find a wheel bearing in Vegas or something like that, we could then, because I'd planned to ride down there, do LA-Barstow-to-Vegas, then hit like some of the BDR, go through Death Valley on the way back up. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I could get that wheel bearing the next day and then still go and hit Death Valley and do that portion of the ride. But even the Yamaha dealerships didn't have any bearings. They're like, well, we can get one in a couple of days. I was like, nah, that's too late,
But yeah, and I think that you've really nailed it, is that the recovery mission was gonna get gnarlier.
Expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like it could fail and I could, hurt myself, and it could just get, it was fucked up.
So I know you had your van, but if, let's just say you didn't have a van, do they have recovery people to help you, or you got to figure that out?
So they have trucks that chase the ride, and like if
right,
so they are picking bikes up, and so that is a possibility. They prefer you to like self recover if you can,
right.
But it's set up in a way that if you hurt yourself, there's people that are coming along the ride, or if you whatever, so you're not in too much danger. And I had always think, riding down to do the LA-Barstow-to-Vegas is kind of an insane move, but it's not as dangerous or gnarly as, because I'm like, okay, well, if I break down or whatever, I could just rent U-Haul and come back. Like, there's no real...
Yeah. And the riding seems like you just have to be in shape and be used to riding in the sand. right? It's not too
yeah.
Well,
I think it also depends on pace and how you attack it, right? I mean, there were some people. I think there was 35 riders that were between 60 and 70. I think I took some notes at the banquet.
And I don't think they were on a big adventure.
They were not. They were on like CRF 300Ls and stuff like that. But the interesting thing is we would pass them. We saw them. They were in a small group putting along. They had a little sport vehicle. And we would pass them, and then we'd go and do our thing, and then we'd pass them again. It's like, well, when the hell did they pass us? But we were always passing this group.
So could you actually have a pickup truck kind of follow you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's cool.
It would be hard for them to follow you on the route, but there was trucks like
the Triumph guys.
The Triumph guys, their truck was meeting every time we hit the pavement because he had the GPX tracks that they were all following. So every time we hit pavement, that guy was waiting there.
And they do have a route or something for if you have family members that are doing a support vehicle, they can meet you along.
Oh, that's good to know.
And we made good buddies with the sweep guys. The first night drinking beer in the parking lot.
And by chance, we didn't know who they were yet.
Yeah, but
they saw you. They're like, the guys with the big bikes.
But they would always check on us and watch us.
All right, so now we know one's down, and only one of you made it.
Yeah.
Well, this is day 2. We're back to day 2.
So day 2, we started out and like right out of the parking lot.
Can I tell this from my perspective? Because
you were there.
The parking lot.
No,
You remember the Incredible Hulk when
my perspective,
he would walk away and the piano would play sadly?
I'm like,
that's what it sounded like when we rode off with Charley.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to drive the van to Vegas. I've never actually been to Vegas, so I was like, oh wow, fuck it, I could spend the day in Vegas, whatever. And I'm like, it's a 2-hour drive there in the van. I'm like 15 minutes to Vegas, and I get a phone call from back there. He's like, hey, how's your drive going? I'm like, my drive's going good. How's your drive going? And he's like, yeah, I got a flat tire. And I was like, don't tell me I have to turn around right now. And then, I mean, they were able to put a tube in it, and then he just hopped on the road and
so day 2 we got I don't know, we didn't even get to the first checkpoint, but we probably got 40 miles in or something like that on the dirt. There's Calico Ghost Town out there. That was sort of the biggest landmark we passed, and we turned north out of there. Okay. The terrain started getting pretty rocky, and I was like, shit, man. So I aired up a little bit. I'm feeling a lot of rocks, and we kind of get bombing down a dirt road.
That's a cool area out there.
It was beautiful. I mean, you got these really cool washes and neat things you're going through. And you never go anywhere without seeing a big pack of bikes, either in front of you, behind you, you're passing them. So you're kind of always riding with a group of people. And so we're kind of charging along. I'm feeling good because there's no sand. And so I'm feeling confident finally. And man, just in a shadow, big sharp rock caught my front tire. I heard the air blow out right away. And I was like, shit.
This was like a 2-inch wide gash.
Yeah,
in the sidewall of the tire.
Yeah, it blew the sidewall out completely. So Scotty was up ahead of me. I texted her. Like when I would drop my bike in the sand, I would say, I'm back up, but you don't have to come back. But because she loves the sand, she would ride back and be like, let me help you. But which was comforting because I'd slow way down. But then she'd wind up picking everyone else's bike up around the area and then riding off again. But anyways, I texted. I said, I've got a flat. I got to fix this. So I carry an extra tube. I have tubeless tires. I catch this big rock. I find a nice spot to set up.
You carry an extra tube, but you have tubeless tires.
I have tubeless tires.
Is that the one with the high pressure thing in the middle?
No. So when you're doing the LA-Barstow-to-Vegas, no matter what motorcycle you bring a tube.
Yeah.
So if you get a failure, like a big gash on a sidewall on a tubeless tire, you can't really patch it, but you can throw a tube in that bitch and get out.
Yeah.
So
your KTM is a tubeless tire, but I got you.
Could you have like safety wired it? Do that?
You know, we kind of looked at it.
Keep it on the wheel
a few different ways, but honestly, the terrain we were going through, I don't know. We both kind of away. We're like, I think once we put the tube in and aired it up, Scotty helped me change the tube. I won't lie, Scotty did most of it.
She's done that for me too.
Yeah. So I was just kind of like, we did get to use the cool kickstand trick to use Scotty's bike to de-bead my tire, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
We videoed a bit of that. But we get this tube in, and it's funny because the sweep guys, I can see some pickups on the hill about like a half mile away, and it turns out they were the sweeps. So we finally get my wheel on. People keep stopping and checking, and we're trying to figure out, and she says, I don't think you should probably ride on these rocks anymore. And I said, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was afraid you could touch the tube through the side of the tire.
Yeah, so there was a big slash where the rim had like cut through the tire.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
So like the tire had like flattened out on a rock and the rim had cut through the sidewall.
Yeah, it's pretty ugly.
About 1.5 to 2 inches.
Yeah, about 2 inches.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we're sitting there, and we see this Toyota pickup coming towards us, and it's one of the sweep guys we were drinking beer with on Thursday night. And he comes up, and we had told people, no, we're good. We just put a tube in it. A lot of people checking on us, which is really nice. Even the sweeps came by.
Was the tube
on their
sticking
bikes.
out like a hernia?
No, not yet. Not yet, but that's what we're describing it as. If this thing kind of if it herniates, we're going to be kind of screwed.
That's when you get the zip ties and safety wire
trying
out.
to tuck it back in and tape it. But so anyways, the Toyota comes back and he goes, hey, I'm just checking on you guys. Oh, we just put a tube in. He goes, yeah, we heard, but you guys been here forever. It wasn't that long. Yeah. So I get on the highway. Scotty continues on the route. And so I get on the highway, and that's when I called Charley.
Like when you called me, and I swear to God, it was like 15 minutes later. Scotty's like, I got a flat.
Yeah. Scotty texts us.
And I'm like,
you're like, I'm going to Mandalay Bay, getting a room with a hot tub in it.
I'm like, do I need if I can turn around now?
So the cool thing was I was on the highway. Charley called me. I just stopped real quick. He goes, you want me to just pick you up a tire? I said, sure. He calls me. He's like, they got a TKC 80. Perfect. No big deal. So when I got to Vegas, because I still had to ride home, we swapped my tire there. But meanwhile, I get the text that Scotty had a flat, and 26 minutes later, we get a text. It's good. I'm on the trail again.
I was quite proud of myself.
It was pretty fast.
Was that a front or rear?
It was a front.
It was a front.
Well, still under half an hour.
Easier one, yeah.
But so I'm 40 miles from Baker and 140 miles from Vegas at that point. So I just get on the highway, cruise to Baker.
Oh, that's right. Baker's a place with the giant thermometer.
Giant thermometer. And the checkpoint was right there at the thermometer. So I said, well, I'll check in. I'll let them know I'm taking the highway so that, they don't worry where I am or whatever.
And it's a giant thermometer.
It is
it's 134 feet tall?
134.
Whoa. And you know why it's 134 feet tall?
Because it's hot.
No, we learned this.
134 degrees is the top?
Yeah.
134 degrees was the highest temperature ever recorded in Death Valley.
Yeah.
Do they raise the tower's height every time it goes higher?
I suppose they must, yeah.
Just on the bottom, though.
Yeah.
They just jack it up. But
anyhow.
So I decided to wait in Baker and kind of hang out because I knew she had a flat. I knew I had a tire secured in Vegas. There's no rush. And I get to see all these cool bikes riding in and checking it out and stuff. So then Scotty rolls into Baker a little while later. And so I'm there hanging out, and I was telling her, like, all these people have support vehicles. I'm not really into mechanical help, but I'm a moral support vehicle.
Yeah.
So we coined the term moral support vehicle. We start bullshitting. We have a sandwich. We're sitting in front of the gas station. My two favorite pictures of our whole trip are me and Scotty sitting in bird shit.
I think I'm looking at it right now at the gas station.
Right in front of the gas station. And then the other one was Charley, when we were on the trail, said, hey, let's take a selfie, and holds his phone right at the sun. So all of us have our eyes closed.
Scotty's half in it because I couldn't see.
But anyways, we're at this gas station in Baker and Scotty's supplying up, getting water and stuff like that. And I'm not doing anything. And this guy walks up, Evan from Massachusetts.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Good dude.
Yeah.
It was like, how's your ride going? I said, oh, I'm out. I'm getting on the highway. I'm heading to Vegas, just waiting for my friend here. And he goes, do you guys need anything? No, I don't. I go, do you have an extra tube? Because I knew Scotty just put her backup tube.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we got tubes. So I yell, are you going to continue on the trail? She said, yeah. You want to take an extra tube with you? Oh, hell yeah. So we go out to this dude's van. He can't shake hands with his right arm because he had a digger the day before. And he's like, yeah. So they're doing the responsible thing. They're doing what all the dirt bike riders should be doing.
And just helping everyone else.
Yeah, in their van, loading up their ice chest with beer to drive to Vegas. And he said, when we get there, my friends are going to drop me at urgent care and then go to the banquet.
That's awesome.
But Evan just gave me a tube.
I said, hey, if we see you in Vegas, he goes, nah, he said, consider it a gift of the road. Like, this is how it goes.
That's dirt bike people, though.
Yeah, it was rad.
Yeah.
I mean, just like a super cool thing.
All right, so then we're down to one.
Just one.
And man,
Are you riding by yourself? Have you teamed up with someone else?
And what time of day are we talking about?
You're just right in front of the support
It was kind of
truck.
a late lunch at that point. It was probably about
Is
1
it like-
o'clock.
Yeah.
Because
Is it like the Stig behind
dark
you?
and
Or
Because it gets dark at like 5.
Yeah.
You got
So
a short window.
yeah, it was kind of just on my own. There's people around, but I was kind of just on my own.
Wait, does this
Alone
mean you
and
came in last
unafraid.
place in the not a race?
No.
No.
Okay.
And at that point I was like, I'm just gonna stay on the blue route, the easy route, and just try and make time. And good Lord, that was hard. There were some sections that were just hard. Like sand, I can enjoy. I can have a good time on sand because it can be predictable, even when it's bumpy,
it's
and
predictable.
even when the bumps aren't, evenly spaced, you can have a good time with it.
Mhm.
But good God, there was a section. It was probably, I don't want to exaggerate, but it was probably 2 or 3 miles long.
Oh.
And it
Yeah.
wasn't sand. It was like large whoops
Yeah.
with like big washouts that you couldn't see.
Okay.
So you'd be bopping along, and then there's like a washout. And you're like,
Yeah.
"Ah!"
like the road disappears.
Yeah.
Or the trail just
Yeah, Jim and I've had some of that.
And it was-
Yeah.
And it wasn't a road, so you're on like a pretty narrow double track.
Right.
But it's not on sand. You're on like loose baby heads.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So it's just skittering around everywhere, and that I was bushed at the end of that.
Like-
that was hard.
Like Diosai.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
that was
you
hard.
couldn't pop up into the desert off the Jeep
No,
trail
it
to
was-
like find
It was even rockier over
Yeah.
there. Yeah. So that
so
was
you
hard.
just got to grin and bear it, huh?
Then there was another section that was really sandy and really long, but that was fun because I could wind it up.
Yeah.
And I've got the steering stabilizer,
Mm.
which we'll get to the ideal bike later, but that was a popular accessory.
Mhm.
And then got to the actual lunch spot on day 2, which there was an actual lunch spot.
At, well, like 3
Yeah.
o'clock or 4 o'clock? Like,
3 o'clock,
Yeah.
which is
Mm.
also the cutoff.
so the
for-
shadows are getting long, right?
for the Red Rocks section, which is
Mhm.
I was looking forward to, and I missed it.
And it actually had snow on it.
I know.
Oh.
Wow.
Right when I rolled into the lunch section, they were like, "Hey, just so you know, Sweep just left." So
Prepare to overnight.
I fueled up. They had the
Wait, isn't the sweep supposed to be in the back?
It's more of a suggestion than a rule.
it's a little squishy. It's fine.
I think it's more set up like if you're behind the sweep, you might want to think about bailing.
You made some.
If you're behind the sweep, we want you to know about it so you can make whatever choice you want to.
Yeah.
Well, it would be no different than we were camping. Like,
Exactly.
We're gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. Big.
All it is the support is just past you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're on your own.
you're on your own.
So what did you decide to do?
I slammed a couple cups of coffee real quick, had a cookie, fueled up because there was a fuel truck there, and
Fucking sent it.
sent it. And
Wow.
at that point I was like,
So how many miles did you have left?
I don't know,
Like
Like
50?
50 to 70.
Because that's a full day of riding.
Yeah.
50 miles, 70. That's a full day. of
70 more
riding.
to go at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And,
Yeah.
but it was there was some road at the end just to get into Vegas, so maybe
Mhm.
don't count that.
It's only an hour at 70 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why I pinned it.
Yeah, that's right.
And
So you're
past the sweep,
there about 45 minutes.
That's a sweep.
and
You're like, later,
I
bitch.
got-
That was the goal.
and I got to the finish before the sweep, which made me feel really good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Did they do the hard section?
No,
Okay.
the hard section or the Red Rocks
Had a
section.
different sweep?
No, it was
No sweep.
They
They
did
died up there.
So
time cutoff. If you don't get to the time cutoff or to the beginning of the last hard section before 3 o'clock,
They suggest you shouldn't do it.
don't do it. Yeah.
So were you close to being the finale finisher?
No.
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 Not even close.
Oh, how late did people get in that?
Like
night?
nine.
Good question.
So well past the sweep,
Oh,
right?
wow.
Just
Oh,
so
way
knows when.
after sweep.
So we met Scotty in the parking lot. We were waiting for her to arrive.
Was it dark?
and no, it was she had lights on.
Okay.
Most bikes had lights on. You could still see some,
I think the sun
But-
had like maybe just set or was
yeah,
about
it was
to.
dusky.
but
Yeah.
people rolled in for the next hour still.
And later than that, even because so we
checked
in, got the little photo with the showgirl and stuff, and
What hotel?
that
or
was at
casino?
the
Orleans.
The Orleans.
Nice. Okay.
And then I had booked a different hotel.
Yeah.
So I went back there, got cleaned up, came back for the dinner, And it was
at 7.
But I was there like 7:15 or something.
Banquet had just started.
Banquet just started, and the Triumph guys rolled in.
The Triumph guys rolled in. Yeah.
With no lights.
They should have just driven into the banquet, right? Like,
Wait, how fast did the winner do it in?
It's not a race.
We don't know.
You say that, but
So
nobody knows because
I got-
nobody's counting. Yeah,
I would imagine the guys that leave like right in the morning, 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, that may feel like more of a race.
So I got in, I don't remember what time, probably. If Scotty got in somewhere around 5, I probably got there around 4. And I did the highway for the last 100 miles at, 75 or something like that. And when I got there were bikes already in.
wow.
That had everybody was impressed with me when I'm pulling in on this big bike. They're like, "You made it." And I'm like,
I did.
Sort of.
All right, I want to ask now that you've completed it.
Yeah.
What would you say would be the perfect bike? And I've written down what I think the answer is. Let's see if
So
you
I want to
agree.
preface this and say, I think depends on how much of a challenge you want.
Yeah, that's fair.
How good of a rider you are. If you're an A-level rider and if you're an A-level rider and you're on a Husky 501, the ride may not be as enjoyable for you because you might just be kind of bored or whatever. Like it's not that challenging.
Or you might go really fast.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, let's try it on something stupid.
What
Like,
would be the best bike to successfully complete this?
I will tell you the highest number of the same bike was a KTM EXC500.
Yeah,
And
that seemed to be
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah.
that seemed to be the weapon of
And
choice
the
down
second
there.
highest?
The 450.
The Husky, right?
Husky 501 FE.
So
Okay.
Same bike, basically.
And I wrote
Exactly.
down the
Yeah.
XC350
So there
or
was-
500, but yes.
there were 70 KTMs, the 500s. How many?
I don't remember.
forget.
Bagel, do you have a question?
Well, I was just wondering how many stretch boosters were entered?
3.
3?
Yeah.
Oh wow! How many
None.
finished?
3.
So the KTM 500 plated dirt bike seems to be the most
It has
common
that-
bike. Yeah, that makes sense.
It has a little.
That 450, 500, some CRF 450,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Everything dual sport.
That's
That really was the weapon of choice down
'Cause-
there, and a lot of those people were flying.
I think there's another answer to this.
whatever you want to ride.
Whatever you have.
So
Right.
I'm going to throw something else out there.
Yeah.
Considering this started around 1984, 40-something years,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to
41st
go,
year this
the,
year,
the
yeah.
weapon of choice should be a Honda XL 350.
Yeah.
Because that was the
Yeah.
prime dirt bike back in the day. So take something,
Not a
vintage.
CR500 though. In those years?
I would say if they started it back then, ride bikes that were popular when they first started.
Yeah, I think the XL would be a lot better than the CR.
Because you could be all like, oh, get an old desert sled Triumph, but that was 60s, 70s. Get something period appropriate for when they first ran it.
Yeah, so I
2 cents.
I think there's sort of two answers to the question. One is obviously the 500 KTM
The scalpel. Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
right?
That's
It's
the
the
best
dirt
bike
bike.
for it.
You're going to have a great time.
Yeah.
The other answer is just ride what you got.
Yeah.
You
Have a good time with
Go
it.
nuts. Yeah.
I think you could ride any bike and just put knobbies. Like you can put an R6 with knobbies on it, and you might not be as comfortable as the 500.
You might not
You-
finish.
Well,
I would say based on what we saw at the finish line, I mean, there was broken EXC500s. There was broken everything.
Yeah.
a lot.
But there was
of,
also every type of bike that started.
Yeah.
All of them. I mean, not all, not everyone finished, but every type of bike finished, right? Including the Triumph. So the bottom line is your bike choice can't be the excuse.
Right.
It seemed like a lot of the big bikes had mechanicals.
That's true.
Do you think, Scotty, though, you could do it on your Honda Passport kind of a thing? Like a little,
Absolutely.
like just for shits and giggles, could you
Honestly, I don't think I could do it in the 2-day time limit. I think I
Okay.
could do it,
eventually? Okay.
but it would not happen in the first 2 days.
And do you think the bike would survive it?
Yeah, but with a small bike like that, you have the benefit of being able to pick it up and carry it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's just sections where you're going to, want to go 50 miles an hour just to make time up again.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, okay, this can go 20. And then even all the big sandy stuff, you're going to be going slower.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you want to make it silly, let's do something silly, but
Yeah,
actually do it. What would be the?
I think a
The go-to.
TW200 would be a great,
Yeah.
fun ride, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wouldn't. you would make it in the time. It'd be just enough challenge. It's a low CC bike. It's
low to the ground.
Low. It'd be really fun. I'm sure it did really good on the sand.
Yeah, you don't want to be a burden to the event, but
that's
to do
thing.
something like an inch of 250, probably not. But there's probably, I don't know, some weird stuff you could.
What I will say is they, when you sign up, you say what bike you're taking, whatever. So they know every motorcycle that enters, and at the banquet they'll say, this fucking guy's crazy, he's, so
look at all these idiots that rode 1200cc adventure bikes.
So would you guys do it again?
Planning on it.
Yeah, I won't. Absolutely.
Would you do it on Vespas if Bagel prepped them?
Absolutely not.
I'm not.
Oh, wait, hold on. Scotty has a limit. What?
Never seen a limit.
You went across Mongolia on a monkey bike, but you wouldn't do this on a Vespa? So you actually have a line.
I really don't think a Vespa or a Ninja or a Passport and these things could do it in the 2-day time frame.
You're going to have clearance issues with the sand. I think the Vespa's wheels are going to sink down far enough to where the floorboards are going to be dragging the sand. You're just not going to be able to go forward.
You would have to
hit so many rocks with the floorboards.
You'd have to find a planing speed with the floorboards.
And even on and then you get the rocky bits.
Yeah.
Bagel, build that bike.
So you're throwing down a challenge is what you're saying.
Yes, I am.
You'd have to, if you could figure out a way to add like another 10 inches of suspension travel,
that
would be doable.
You need it higher off the ground.
Yeah.
And I think tall wheels, right?
A 21-inch front wheel.
A tall wheel would make a big difference out there.
I don't know. My 19 felt great.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
10 inches is good for a lot of things.
I can say that again.
Anyhow, yeah. So I think maybe there are limits to the do it with what you have.
That sounds
answer.
about right. Also,
yeah.
Well, congratulations on finishing, Charley. I think even though your bearings went out, you rode the heck out of that bike, and I'm still proud of you. And Hector, you just failed me.
Yeah. Sorry.
I look forward to next year when you guys go back and try and keep Bagel afloat on his Vespa with you.
Oh, goodness.
Speaking of Bagel, though, I wanted to check in real quick. We had a little contest last week. For those who are here, you may remember that Ryan from F9. You got to go, Jim? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Ryan from F9 was nice enough to give us 2 tickets to his movie premiere in Vancouver on December 22nd to give away to a listener who told us which movie, their favorite motorcycle movie. We had a few submissions. Bagel, do you want to, let's just, because they're kind of long,
okay.
Why don't you take the one from Les Moore and just kind of abbreviate it?
Let's see here.
Jim, give me that water right there.
From
right there.
From who?
From Les Moore, Riding with an Icon. Oh wait, no, it's the wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah.
How about from the one from Mike?
Let's see here. From Mike. Yes. I have this email from Mike. He says, "Hey, Misfits, I live up in Vancouver and I'm looking forward to this movie premiere. I've been listening to your podcast for years now and look forward to every new episode. The garage is one of my destination rides and I'm looking forward to dropping by one day. Anyways, best bike movie. Tough one. Here's a list. The World's Fastest Indian.
Yeah, good movie.
Always a great one. Why We Ride.
Yep.
Good one. On Any Sunday.
The best.
The Bike Riders.
Oh, that's the one that just came out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the 12 O'Clock Boys.
Oh,
that's a great
That's pretty good. Yeah.
The 12 O'Clock Boys was a good one.
Yeah, we all like that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and he had an addition to this, which for those of you who weren't here, we asked our listeners if you could ride with anyone, live or dead, on any bike, who would it be and on what bike?
And he says, if I could ride with anyone, it would be Travis Pastrana out at Pastrana Land. That would be fun. However, my crew of 6 will always be my go-to gang. Anyways, looking forward to meeting Liza and Bagel. Cheers, Mike.
Ooh. All right, that's a good list. Thank you. I got one here from Lynn who said, 2 awesome back-to-back pods. I love movies and I can't wait until the Fastway Round drops, and I hope Billy's movie gets made. Now, the thing is, they're not calling it Fastway Round. I think that was kind of a working title. Did you see the title?
What's the actual title?
I have to look it up. It's a name I don't understand.
Oh, Yalla Habibi.
Yes, that's it.
Yes,
Yalla Habibi.
I like how you pulled that out.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Krishna.
Lynn said, mainstream movies, many to pick from on any Sunday, hitting the apex fastest.
Good.
Who would I want to ride with? I think Mary McGee, another great motorcycle movie. Motorcycle Mary. Yeah. So glad Billy Choi is getting the word out about board trackers. He mentioned Chris Price of Archive Moto. I just got his book, Georgia Motorcycle History, the first 60 years of motorcycles. It's a beautiful book. Who would have known there were motorcycle races where Piedmont Park in Atlanta is now. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, and I just got a Janus, and I love it.
Very cool.
And I mentioned that the Janus, I think, is the only bike that currently is reminiscent of a board track racer. And so that's the Janus. And I thought it was interesting. Board track racing style hasn't carried over except for the Janus. So thank you, Lynn. And we have one more submission. Bagel, can you read that one?
Yes. This one is from Smoky Moon.
All right.
He writes,
That's a great name. Yeah. Hey, Smokey.
I'm a big fan from Idaho and a Fort 9 viewer who would love to go to the Vancouver debut of Fastway Round, quote unquote. Please watch 972 Breakdowns, my recommendation, which features a group of 6 German art students who embark on a journey from Germany to New York via Georgia, Serbia, Russia, Mongolia, and Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we check that out? They got stranded on like the ice sheet or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
It's an epic film about overcoming inexperience in riding and mechanicking to keep their Urals running despite starvation rations and terrible conditions at times. They carry a spare transmission and a spare engine in one of the sidecars and rig a propeller to one of their bikes to run a raft on the Kolyma River for 4 weeks of the trek, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's legit.
Some frazzled God looks out for drunks, children, and art students. I highly recommend this movie. I listen to Motorcycles and Misfits regularly while I piddle with and even sometimes fix my small stable of patinaed airhead BMWs here in Idaho. I would love to meet you all. If you find yourselves in Idaho, I would love to show you the country. Besides the antiques, I have a reliable R1200 GS that gets me around too, so I can mostly promise a real ride. Toodaloo, Smoky Moon.
Smoky Moon. I might take up Smoky Moon on his offer because Idaho is one of the most beautiful places on the planet.
So Bagel and I have chosen the winner.
Oh,
and like I said, Bagel and I are going up to Vancouver to meet the F9 crew and to see this movie. And we would like to invite, you want to announce it, Bagel?
Drum roll.
It is going to be Smoky Moon.
Yay!
All right.
Congratulations, Smoky Moon. I'll send you an email. So I'll let you know the reason why I voted for Smokey, because I saw that movie 972 Breakdowns, and it was
I remember that,
grueling.
Yeah.
It was featured in the Rev Sisters Film Festival.
Yeah.
These are all great films. Smokey went in for one film that is a great film that a lot of people haven't heard of. Therefore, you win 2 tickets. So you're going to be joining us. So congratulations, and look forward to meeting you in a couple weeks. So we have some more emails to get to, but before we do that, I wanted to ask those of you who weren't in the room last week, did you answer the question? You did. But for the question that we asked everyone, who would you ride with and on what bike?
Oh, yeah, you told me about it today, yeah.
So I want to know from you all, who would you choose to ride with and on what bike? I'll tell you, I'm split evenly between going for a ride with Evel Knievel and on his XR750 or John Britton on a Britton on Isle of Man. Oh, those are both great. Who would you ride with, Hector?
I don't know. I'm kind of torn, and it seemed like a corny one, but when I was riding dirt bikes a lot when I was younger in my 20s, and I was talking to my grandmother about riding at Carnegie, and she was like, I was trying to explain to her what Carnegie was. She goes, "Yeah, I know what that is. We rode out there years before it was ever an off-road."
It was a dump.
Wait,
or whatever. Yeah,
my grandma rode dirt bikes, so I think sort of someone like that would be amazing to me, just to go out and spend some time with them and see her just tear it. Because
that's cool.
Tenore as an older woman was a really prim and proper,
cool.
but pictures of her with shotguns and stuff like this when she was younger. I think she used to rip it up. So that would have been a great time.
How about you, Charlie?
I'm kind of thinking about like the Rossi like flat track ranch or whatever. I think going up there would be so much fun.
Dirt biking and flat tracking with someone with those guys,
because they have the whole.
Cool.
Doesn't Rossi have the whole ranch or whatever?
Yeah, he does.
And then like
Kenny Roberts used to have one too in Modesto.
Yeah,
any of those would be
that's cool.
Great time.
All right, how about you, Scotty?
I'm haven't had 5 seconds to think about it. I'm probably going down a similar route as Hector, where like my grandfather had a Silver Wing and then he visited the 48 lower states on. That would but I never got to ride with him, right? He was like a hard ass ex-cop when I met him or when I knew him most. But also like my father has really changed a lot over the time. He's a lot more risk averse now. He's older. He's been through some health stuff.
Just buy him an airbag.
And I think it would be pretty epic to go and like ride something like LA-Barstow-to-Vegas with my dad on a couple of XR 400Rs.
Yeah.
I think that would be like a pretty cool thing to do. Obviously, he wouldn't do it, but
just buy them and then just show up at the doorstep and be like, "We're going."
Guess what we're doing today?
Yeah.
Well, I have an email from this one is from Crockett Josh. And he said he
Oh, yeah, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah, he says, last podcast you said you wanted to know which motorcycle icon I'd want to take a rip with. I think, Jim, you'll agree. He says, well, I couldn't think of anyone I'd rather ride with than Hunter S. Thompson. He's not a traditional motorcycle icon in the typical sense, but he loved to ride. He rode fast, and he wrote a lot about riding. Above all, he was a misfit. Here's how my ride with Gonzo would go. I meet him at midnight at some seedy, smoky bar in the Tenderloin. I didn't question the pile of cigarette butts and empty beer bottles in front of him, nor did I inquire about the menagerie of pharmaceuticals in his stained fanny pack. This is the late 60s anyway, you dig? We hop on our bikes, seats wet from the cold San Francisco fog, and rip our way down Market Street at extra legal speeds. All the posh bankers and executives of Twin Peaks are violently yanked from their peaceful slumber as the glorious roar from Hunter's BSA Lightning tears open the serenity of the still night air. We snake our way through the surface streets, mouths foaming at the prospect of getting out to the open, empty Pacific Coast Highway. I'm trying to keep up, but the helmetless, skinny bastard keeps outbraking me into every corner. Is he even braking? I grit my teeth, channel my inner Gonzo, and keep twisting the throttle. I'm going to keep him in my sight because this man doesn't suffer cowards, and he still owes me for the keg of beer I bought him last weekend. We finally make our goal, the sinewy curves of the PCH. Like a rabid, drug-fueled greyhound, Hunter graciously stuffs his British twin into the long, fast sweepers. I'm not sure if he's actually any good at riding or if he's simply let the thrill of speed drown out his fear of death. Racing down the hill into Pacifica. I'm finally right on his rear tire. His polo shirt is fluttering above his exposed back, and the steely glint from a revolver tucked in his waistband catches my eye. My heart skips a beat as we break 3 digits downhill. He starts to gap me. I start catching up as we climb out of Pacifica. I can smell the ocean, a bit of burning oil, and the smell of cigarette smoke. Somehow, in this chaotic race, the psycho in front of me has lit a cigarette. I can see the faint glow of his Dunhill as I try to pass him. He's not letting that happen. He scowls at me and grabs a heroic handful of throttle as we approach the curve along the cliffs above Gray Whale Cove. As I round that curve faster than I've ever gone, I'm puckered up in all the wrong places. Stay on the throttle, you lizard-brained coward, I imagine Hunter screaming at me. My tires are wiggling under my bike, but I'm holding strong. I've made it through the corner. To my surprise, as I round the corner, I see no one on the open road ahead of me. For a mile ahead, the PCH is empty and quiet. I come to a stop at the shoulder and listen for the hellish belch from the BSA's open pipes. Nothing but seagulls screeching and my own heart pumping. I know I didn't pass Hunter. I was right on his ass going into the corner. There are no skid marks, no clouds of steam rising from a crumpled heap of motorcycle. Could he have gone over the edge? Did I just witness my hero slide down into the gaping maw of death? Panic ensues. I pop down my kickstand, run up the embankment, and look over the cliff into Gray Whale Cove. Nothing but waves crashing on the rocks below. No lights, no bodies, just ink-black water and angry white foam. There's no way he pulled away so fast and so far that I'd have lost him, nor is there any evidence of a crash. Was I chasing a ghost? Did I just hallucinate the most thrilling ride of my life? I catch the acrid stench of Dunhill cigarette on the wind. No, this wasn't a dream, but I can't tell what it really was. As I ponder the mystery of what just happened, a reassuring quote floated through my mind. It's better to be shot out of a cannon than squeezed out of a tube. I hop back on my bike and continue full throttle into the night. Thus ends my dream ride with my motorcycle icon, Hunter S. Thompson. Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, fuck knock.
So that's awesome, Josh. Thanks for sending that. I want to get on my motorcycle right now, go down the street, get on Iconic Highway 1, and rip down the coast until the landslide and turn around and come back.
All right. Who else has an email? Someone talking about their fantasy ride.
I've got one.
I have a long one.
All right. Why don't you go, Scotty, and then Charley?
All right. This one's from Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Eric. Howdy, Misfits. This is Eric T. from, well, this year it's Colorado. I'm always on the move. Referring to your question on the last pod, I'd like to present two answers. One person to ride alongside and one to ride with, dead or alive.
Okay.
My heart is torn between riding alongside Eric Buell or Keanu Reeves on any of their respective machines.
All right.
Similar to how it was mentioned that somebody wanted to ride with the Davidson brothers. I mean, really, how awesome would it be to have a PCH ride on an arch next to Keanu, right, and watching how he pilots his stunning machines? Similarly, with Eric Buell, what a thrill it would be to rip through the forests of Grand Rapids back roads on the only American superbike. Well, perhaps gather views along the Great Lakes. What a dream. The one person I'd ride with, however, must be Nikki Hayden. Rest in peace. Perhaps he needs no introduction in this circle, but I simply must be a passenger on a bike with the number 69, which
Nice.
Say what?
Nice.
Oh. Number 69, which tees up plenty of evergreen jokes, and if I may choose a track, I think Circuit of the Americas would be more than appropriate. He really was the end of an era. Thanks for the pod, fist mitts. Keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. P.S. Hello, Miss Emma darling.
Get well soon.
I very much enjoy the highly technical chats you provide to the pod, from your love of the Suzuki Gixxer 750 to those Roman chariot races you watched growing up. I'd love to have a bubbly beverage with you and listen to you absolutely rave over the differences between series and MOSFET rectifiers. You're my kind of people. Same with you, Bagel. You cheesy insight is always welcome as well. Glad you and Bambi are doing well, and all things considered. I challenge you to make the pilgrimage to Sturgis next year with your new HD copper.
It's a cool part of the world.
Jumpy Ston, my man, non sequitur incarnate. Keep it up. And Liza, I was part of the anti-Jeep club, and I need to tell somebody or I'll explode. My most favorite TJ mod was sacrilegious to the Jeeper Creepers and upgraded rear sway bar.
There you go.
I know most folks remove them entirely for off-roading, but it made a wafty, wavy ride turn into a genuinely nice, streetable car. Close seconds are the Brown Dog off-road rubber engine mounts and completely rebuilding the shifter. But I'll stop there. Thanks again for working to keep the pod and get it available on YouTube.
All right.
Thanks, Eric.
Is yours a fantasy ride, Jim?
Yeah, and I'm quite happy with it. So this comes from Alan Wells from across the pond in the UK.
Alan.
Hey, Alan.
You can do the accent, Jim.
I gotta put my beer down. No, I got a Scottish accent. All right, yeah, wee bairns. Okay, so this is from Alan. Hey, Misfits. I've been pondering the question you asked last week and have finally come up with an answer. I've opted for someone who's currently living, as I'm not sure as a dead person would be as much good as a company for conversation. If you'd allow it, I choose Naked Jim as my writing partner. Yay! What? I don't get that very often. So I write by myself all the time. No, I'm kidding. Having listened to many, many hours of your podcast, more on that later, Jim comes across as the most friendly, amiable, inclusive, and encouraging companion as an off-road motorcycle trip. So cheers. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's true. I would say that's true.
Well, I can say the same about every single person in this room. So we're in good company here. So all your talk over the years of being able to take off for a ride on fire roads and dirt tracks has made me incredibly jealous of the freedom and availability of open tracks you have access to. America. Here in the UK, it's very heavily regulated and it's very tough to do. Have that said, he recently signed up for a weekend introductory course of trail riding, as the only experience so far in 30-odd years of riding is off-road and short and very much unplanned excursion into a cabbage field, while touring northern France. So if Naked Jim would have me, and I certainly would, I would love to take a ride into the desert and learn all the tricks that I've picked up over the adventures. Of course, bring plenty of firewood. Well, we like the sound of that. So yeah, right on, anytime. So back to so this is interesting. Back to the many hours of listening you've gifted me with. I'll give Liza credit for that. My end of the year Spotify roundup just came in and has highlighted I've listened to 29,000 minutes, roughly 485 hours of the podcast since January.
Wow. Sorry.
Okay, you need to seek therapy immediately.
Oh my gosh.
Is there an award for that?
I don't know.
But there will be soon. I'm going to weld up some pistons and some bearings, and we're going to send you an award. But he works alone as a gardener. I am a gardener also, so cheers to you. And playing into his ear every day. All right. So let's see what else he's got here. I'm trying to shorten it a little bit. Oh, he and his wife took part in the Africa Rally in July, driving a 1975, Scotty, you'll like this, 1975 Chevy from South Africa through Botswana, Zambia, Zimbabwe, another one, and Tanzania, and ending in Kenya. Sounds like a Gambler 500 kind of thing.
Yeah. That's epic.
Wow.
Gambler 500 Africa.
Yeah.
And a 75 Chevy. That's wild.
Oh my gosh. The number of Chinese 150cc bikes we saw was incredible. Most of them were serving as taxis or other couriers. And then working his way back up to the catalog is really interesting, not only for the variety of guests, but the inadvertent education he's getting. But as a social history of the times we've been living through. Oh, most recently, your COVID Zoom podcasts.
Oh, wow.
Remember fucking COVID?
God, it feels like a lifetime ago.
Right? Have been listening to see how the confusion and ever-changing guidelines affected everyone.
Remember the time Emma did it from her bubble bath?
I do.
She did. Yes. The bubble bath was great. And that's when
I missed that one.
That's when we weren't writing because you would bog up the hospitals.
Yep.
Remember?
No, you and I were writing.
Well, kind of, yeah.
A little
we were
urban
concerned about it.
exploration.
We were going slow. Watch out for deer. All right. Sorry for the rambling email. But thank you to each and every misfit, past and present, because that's important, for creating such a wonderful community and a podcast that continues to inspire and inform writers worldwide. You're a UK misfit from across the pond, Alan, not Steve. And P.S., there's a couple I support, Lauren and Tom of Kiki Rides, and I like motorbikes. On the book tour currently, riding through Africa on CG 125s. So check them out. And PPS, he just became a Patreon member. So cheers to Alan.
And you had some pictures.
There's some pictures.
Awesome.
One picture is our top podcast.
Yeah,
from his wrapped.
Oh, you streamed 29,000 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he got an award.
Yeah,
and then there's his
many minutes in a year.
Yeah.
His cool stuff he's got in the garage. So
all
cheers,
right.
Alan.
John, you have one. Then we'll go to you, Charlie.
All right. This is from Patty from New Jersey.
Hey, Patty.
Patty.
So about who we would ride with, I have to say Nikki Hayden on a pair of RC51s. I've been building my RC51 project, the War Pig, for a while. Too long, really. I would just love a chance to see him doing his thing and getting a chance to meet him. Close second would be the Flying Doctor himself, Dr. John Hines. Supermotos through Ireland would be my choice. My best to all.
All right. And Charlie, you got one?
Yeah. Mine's from Wendy Crockett.
Hey,
Oh,
Wendy.
can I just tell you, Wendy is on a sidecar tour in Mexico right now.
I
so
think she
cool.
mentions it in this email.
Is she?
And she sent me the most
Who's in the
amazing
sidecar?
picture. She was fixing a broke down bike at the time. I'm going to show you a picture, and I kid you not. This was where she was when she was fixing the sidecar. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
This
That doesn't suck.
Oh, my word.
Jeez.
Are those waterfalls?
waterfalls
And blue water?
The
aqua blue water.
Azure blue
Fixing a bike.
water.
It's like
So you gotta
5 waterfalls.
It's like
the most
Barstow.
Beautiful.
It's just like
It's like
All
right by the thermometer.
It's like a low
So-
red bar.
That's
So.
Baker.
That's the experience I had in Barstow.
What did Wendy have to say?
Oh yeah.
Hey all, I was listening to last week's episode and I wanted to share my who would you want to ride with tangent. John Britton is always my number one answer because he is the ultimate motorcycle innovator of my lifetime. And I would probably most of our lifetimes. Even if Emma's as a Bessie Stringfield Award recipient, I would be absolutely thrilled to ride with her. Or any of the many fearless women riders of her day. But my story comes from another of my top picks, Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
Big shout out.
I owned a small motorcycle shop in the mountains of Central California, and we had tons of OG desert racers who lived in the area. My shop was the hangout spot where all the old timers would wax poetic about their races and adventures. One of my regulars, John, was telling me about some crazy mischief he and his buddy Steve got back up to in the day as we were leaving. Almost as an afterthought, he said, "You may have actually heard of him. He was an actor, Steve McQueen."
The king of cool.
Yeah.
I nodded my head and went back to whatever I was wrenching on without giving it too much thought, since motorcycle shops are right up there with tackle shops as far as tall tales go. The next morning, John wanders back into the shop with a couple photos in his hand. He says, "I didn't want you to think I was full of shit." One of the pictures, which I've attached, is Steve fueling up at the highly recognizable gas
Feeling
station.
up?
Yeah, fueling up at a highly recognizable gas station in our little town. The second picture, which I have at home and will dig up when I return from Mexico, was a very young John next to a very shirtless Steve McQueen lounging next to their bikes. I don't know what it was about our little town, but damned if we didn't attract some of the coolest old timers with some of the most amazing stories from when the world felt a bit smaller. And a rider was a brother regardless of status. From what they say, Steve was legitimately a cool guy, great friend, and an incredible rider. Anyways, I just thought you'd enjoy hearing my 2 degrees of Steve McQueen's story. Happy holidays all.
That's cool. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Steve McQueen's
Thanks,
cool.
Wendy.
All right, we have one more. We're running short of time, so let's get to that bagel.
Do I have one?
Yes, this one is from Les Moore.
I don't have that.
Okay, then I will have to read it.
Okay.
Sorry, Bagel. I thought I sent that to you. All right, so this one is from Les Moore. He says, "Hey all, it's Les Moore from Bredlington, UK here." That's as far as I'm going with the accent.
Nailed it.
Still loving listening, and I have just finished the Wendy Crockett book. How funny. I got after the 600th episode. Many thanks. It is cold, damp, miserable, and tending towards rot here, not just in the UK, but in my workshop too. But more about that later. You asked about riding with an icon. Well, during this summer, while riding my new-to-me Ducati Multistrada, I found myself frequently thinking about another iconic big V-twin rider. No, not evil, but T.E. Lawrence, a.k.a.
Oh, that's a great
Lawrence of Arabia.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You can find posters of Peter O'Toole riding a camel while playing him in the film. Well, Lawrence died riding his 6th 1000cc Brough Superior while blasting around the lanes of Dorset, UK, supposedly in a crash, but more likely assassinated. Dun, dun, dun. He really enjoyed riding his Broughs at speed through the back roads of Dorset and Wiltshire, similar to my rides in the Yorkshire wolds, but probably drier. The torque from the big V-twin engine of the Multi gives a very satisfying feeling when surging out of corners on the single-track roads that crisscross the rural areas of England. I imagine Lawrence felt exactly the same. Lawrence did spend some time in my current hometown of Bridlington, and we both have been members of the same shooting club, but 90 years apart or so. I suspect that my extra 90 brake horsepower or so would help me to keep up with him, but modern traffic might be a surprise. When I first got the Multistrada, it is the 1200S version. I was really impressed with the low-down torque. I've had other Vs in the past, but this bike takes that feeling to the next level. It is hibernating at the moment, but I'm going to do the full Desmo service before spring, and I'm really looking forward to joining Lawrence again on the back roads. Talk about the torque of V-twins and riding icons. When I first got the bike, I did think of calling it Lunge because of the way it throws itself out of corners. I suspect Emma might remember a bike called Lunge from a cartoon in a UK bike magazine of the 70s and 80s. Full marks if she can name the iconic rider. I am more like his mate, Looney Malcolm. I'm guessing that Emma's like, oh, yes, of course. Back to my workshop, which unfortunately has sprung a few leaks in the roof this year. Having listened to the definition given by Six Bikes Garage, I realized that mine is really a 2-bike garage because he has more than 6 bikes, so he was called a liar. But in fact, he says, no, that's how many bikes my garage should have. I just have 9.
Old.
I have 9 in a 6-bike garage. That's what he refers to it. So he says that I realize that I have a 2-bike garage. I usually have 3, sometimes 4, but more than 2, and the comfort of working on them is gone. The leaks in the roof might inspire me for a building project next summer. Maybe a bit of enlargement might be in order. Don't tell the setter of my D-1 number. Besides the Ducati, I have a project 1976 CB750 and a 1975 Triumph Bonneville. It is a Bonneville that is getting all of the time at the moment. I would have liked to have said getting all of the love, but it seems to hate me, and I keep coming across horrors from the past. That and stuck fasteners keep slowing the job down. My main attention is to clean the sludge trap, part of the oil filtration system, which involves completely dismantling the whole engine. That sounds horrible. While I'm there, I will probably replace every bearing, end seal, depending what other horrors I find. It started as last year's winter project, but things got in the way. Anyway, enough from me. I'm glad that y'all seem to have had a great Thanksgiving. I wish you all the best for the holiday season and the coming year. Much love. Les. P.S. If you want to see my Bonneville horrors, they're on YouTube. Look up Spanner Rash.
All right.
Oh, boy.
So
cheers.
I wouldn't waste time with those bearings.
I'll tell you what I love about his email. He already imagines himself riding with Lawrence on a Bruff Superior while he's on his bike. That is so cool to think about that. That's a whole nother thing. Like,
that's
think
cool.
When you're going up 9, I'm like, oh, who am I riding with?
Well, earlier we were talking about like
Russ Thompson
with like Obi-Wan Kenobi, ride with Yoda, some shit like that. I'm just saying outside the
that's
box.
What Doug was like on one of the
speeder
bikes.
bike.
Speeder bikes. That would be cool. Well,
through Star Wars Canyon.
That
Death Valley
brings us to the end of the episode.
What?
I know. I still want to hear more about Vegas. We didn't even hear about Charley and his experience in Vegas. Did you get any hookers and blow?
3.
Oh, very good.
Of which one?
Yes.
Yes, all 3. So a quick announcement. We've been talking about it, but I think we set it in stone. So the Misfits Desert Hare,
yes,
3rd annual 2026 is going to happen. And this is in Johnson Valley, OHV. It's going to be January 22, 23, 24, 25. And those are just rough dates. Come for any part of that, all of that, stretch it out. But it's kind of the 3rd weekend in January. The cool thing about this year is it's also the same weekend of King of the Motos. So where we typically pitch camp is about 22 miles as the crow flies across the desert. So it makes a great afternoon ride to like just land navigate across the desert, find your way into Hammertown and check out that stuff. But we've never been for the motorcycles. So that'll be kind of cool.
Is the plan to go to Cougar Buttes again?
Yes. So Cougar Buttes, which is at Johnson Valley OHV.
Is that a strip club?
It is this
Both.
year.
It is this year, exactly.
But
But it's kind of out in the desert, but it's also not that hard to access. So like you could drive a Honda Civic out there,
Right.
right at the end of the day, but you're pretty far out there. It's BLM land, so we have some fun, have a good time. But anyway, it's a gathering. So if you got some free time the third weekend in January, come meet all. So in this room, John's coming, Hector's coming, Scotty's coming, Charlie's coming, I'm going.
I'm going to be at Isle of Man.
Okay,
No.
well.
Oh,
we'll
you
give
must
a bite
Sorry.
for that.
so
Well, that's-
cool.
Sorry.
That's a good reason.
And the Ace Cafe. Sorry. I got all
Craigzilla's
those stuff I
thinking
got
about
to
it.
do.
Hopefully Craigzilla makes it. Hopefully Mikey 3 times comes.
Hopefully Alan from the UK makes it.
And
Alan would be great.
Josh,
Come on,
hopefully
Alan.
Josh
Josh.
comes.
of
Come on,
course.
Alan.
what must you bring?
Bill.
A good time and firewood.
Yeah.
Toilet paper's advised.
Well, and I wanted just to remind everyone that April 16th through 19th, I think all of us in this room, and hopefully Bagel, are going to be at the Misfits rally.
I don't know yet. I got to see.
All right.
Okay.
Come to the Misfits rally.
Come to the Misfits rally. That's where we got you.
Yeah, this is where you found me.
It's a
Where we
hoedown.
found you.
It's a hoedown or hootenanny.
The
It might be
Misfits
both.
rally for me is like such a special time. Going through a lot of life changes over the last couple of years, midlife crisis type shit, I guess. But the bottom line is I booked this ticket for the Misfits rally after listening to the podcast for a while and things. And I was, I told you guys I was half drunk is probably an understatement in a bar in Morro Bay. And I just bought a ticket back in, on
Fuck it. And
New Year's Eve last year, right? I was like Lieutenant Dan bummed out at a bar while there's a party going on, right? I swear to God. It was the best decision I made. I've made some of my dearest friends, some of my dearest riding buddies. I've spent a lot of time with all of you. And
Wait, why'd you look at everyone but me when you said that?
No, I mean, especially you. But honestly, because of this thing that you've put together, it's been such a positive impact on my life. And so if you're considering the Misfits rally, if you're thinking, I don't know anybody, I don't know about my bike, I don't even have who cares? It doesn't
beat you
matter.
up and make fun of you.
Yeah, I got
Well,
jumped in. I haven't been able to leave.
Well, we see people once in a blue moon that you remember from the rally. Oh, what's the Japanese kid that we saw at SFMC?
Jinwei?
Jinwei, a.k.a. Mud Puddle.
Yeah,
He was at SFMC?
Yeah.
And you're like, yay. And it was from the rally.
But I mean, even meeting people that live out near me that I didn't even know, GS Dave, Yosemite Bill, David Michelle, all these people, then Matt, meeting people through the podcast and through the Misfits rally was like a huge change in my life. Positive change, by the way.
Nice.
But honestly, if you're thinking about going, and like I said, if you don't know, if I don't know anyone, I don't like to do it. Doesn't friggin' matter. Just show up, stay in a hotel downtown if you want, come out during the day. You won't want to leave. And I can't encourage you enough to show up.
And bring firewood.
Bring fire. Be cool, be kind, bring firewood. I knew the instructions when I got there, and I did. And hopefully I did all those well.
You can find out more at breakawayadventures.com or misfitsrally.org.
And we just saw Matt. He's in good form.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
it was
is.
great seeing him.
Well, thank you guys for coming in and sharing your stories. And just remember, these are the people who are, all three of them, that are taking you on adventure rides at the Misfits rally.
Yeah.
You're in good hands.
We'll have a good time.
And I'll probably have a new wheel bearing.
It'll be misfitty, hopefully.
I know. But yeah, come join us. And this is just thanks for being a part of this and listening. I mean, how many hours has he spent listening to it?
We're going to call it Allen level. It's like Allen level listening.
But have you reached Allen level?
That also means that we've been sitting in this room for that many hours too.
I know.
But Alan,
That's a
before I
lot of
forget,
hours.
Jawbone Canyon, which is in Southern California, is a great place in the desert to dirt bike, and they rent motorcycles.
Oh,
So fly into somewhere in Southern California, find your way to Jawbone. I think you can rent an RV also.
And we'll excuse you for not bringing firewood if you fly in. It's
We will
fine.
excuse you from all things.
You want to go to Jawbone Canyon in a couple weeks?
Jawbone is a cool. Yeah, I do.
Let's go.
I think we could throw that out there.
One of these days.
Well, so I'm going to throw this out while we're chatting. Next fall, Matt and I were talking about this. We're going to get a group and go to Lone Pine, California,
that sounds great.
which is AKA Alabama Hills.
Oh, right.
The beautiful.
Is that where the mine is?
Yes,
I want to do that.
Oh, the new reward mine where they get right into?
the one you can go down 1.5 miles into the earth.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Let's
so
go.
it has that. It has movie quality, epic scenery. It's also on the edge of Death Valley. So what we're talking about, real quick, is next fall. Get there however you can, but we're going to bring the dirt bikes and the bigger bikes, and have like a week of maybe Airbnb it and tent it. So if it's cold, we'll be in the Airbnb with a swimming pool. But if it's not too cold, we'll camp out at Alabama Hills.
Okay.
But then we can go into Death Valley and explore an abandoned mines. So next fall.
That sounds great.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're gonna
I have
Alabama
another
Hills.
date. The naked ride.
Oh, am I the last one to find out again?
Not the last, because there's going to be people that are going to find out. Well, and you could clear the date with you if it works or not. Right?
Are you going to have
on the
nachos?
podcast.
Yeah. What date have you chosen?
It is January 31st.
Well, even if I'm not here, you guys can do it.
January 31st.
Yes.
Won't it be cold?
That's the whole point. It's a polar bear swim of motorcycles.
I will not be here, I think.
You will be missed.
I will be not here.
Plausible deniability.
I will be. Oh, I get home. Yeah, I won't be here. I get home late that night from England. But have fun.
Cool. So we'll be just in your house.
So naked ride. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Ride naked.
You can find all the information if you look up our Vampires Motorcycle Club on Facebook. We have all our events posted for the next few of them.
Right.
There's lots of information for the naked ride in there.
Hector,
I'm
this
shy.
is your next challenge.
I'm shy.
Come on. Just
It's in
saying.
the night.
Just saying. Check
Awesome.
that one off the list.
That's coming from the person who's not going to be here, by the way.
Right. I was
Hold
just
on.
going to say, yeah, I could just say I was
Who
here.
doesn't usually
right?
do the naked?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I was there.
Anonymity to your
Totally.
No,
helmet.
it's fun. It's cold. It's not that long because it's cold. You ride through downtown Santa Cruz naked. People are like cheering you on. Then we usually end it like hot tubs, and it's
There you
nice. Yeah, warm back up.
All right. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on. I've also been adding a lot of the events we're going to be at, like AIM Expo.
I was going
stuff
to say,
like
when's
that.
Vegas? Is that?
No, we're not going to Vegas. It's in Long Beach.
Yeah, Long Beach. Okay.
Yeah. But you can go to motorcyclesandmisfits.com. I've been updating our events. I got to add some more of these now. And that's how you can find links to everything there. You can be a Patreon subscriber. Thank you, Patreon supporters. You'll find the link there. You can email us at motorcyclesandmisfits@gmail.com. Let's keep it going. I want to hear what your fantasy ride is, who it's with, and on what bike. I want to hear more of them. And send us your emails. Thanks, everyone. Time to get out of here. Let's go. This is Liza.
Stumpy John.
Hector.
Charlie.
Scotty.
Naked Jim.
Bagel.
And we're out of here.
Cool.
Smoke weed every day.